Hello, beautiful.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ned Ghost Rider broadcast. I am Ned Ghost Rider. Most people call me Ghost. Welcome in. Sorry, I'm a little flustered. I just got back from work and grocery shopping because today was the only time I was going to be able to go grocery shopping. But yes, oh no, it's a ghost. Welcome in, Bite Sync. What's up, Keko? Yeah. So, after stream last night, I fell asleep on my chair again as I was putting a heating pad on my shoulder. And going in and out of icing my shoulder, and I didn't quite ice it as much as I wanted to, but I woke up sore today from baseball. The shoulder hurts a little bit, but I went to work today. I did the thing. Work was fucking miserable. It was windy as fuck. We had 45-mile-an-hour gusts, sustained winds of about, I don't know, 35 to 40 miles an hour. And it was fucking slow. It took 5 hours and 10 minutes. It was brutally awful. But I got paid. That's a good thing. That means I can continue to do this stuff. I actually wasn't gonna stream today because I got news that made me a little shell-shocked. It wasn't bad news. It was one of my best friends. My mom had asked about her, and I reached out to her. I said, hey, my mom asked about you, so I thought I'd do a thing and, ask how you're doing. And my friend responded and said, yeah, in the last year, I got married, I bought a house, and I had a kid. I'm like, what? Like, what? You did all those things and I didn't know about them at all? What the fuck?
There you go.
I'm like, we've talked in the last year. We've had conversations in the last year. You didn't think to bring up any of these? I was like, what the fuck? So, I've kind of felt like a shitty friend all day. And I mean, there's no reason for me to feel like a shitty friend, like, if she didn't talk to me about it. Yeah, Ghost, I got married like 6 months ago. Keko, her child is 6 months old, which means for the last 15 months that we've had conversations, she could have brought up, oh, hey, I'm having a kid. Or, hey, I had a kid. So for 15 months, she didn't bring it up at all. There was times where I texted her and she was pregnant. Full-blown pregnant. You know how RFK talks about full-blown autism? She was full-blown pregnant. And didn't, just let me know. Again, she doesn't have to tell me, but like, I consider her one of my best friends. So the fact that happened, but did you get the package? No, I didn't get it. Keko, there's literally a tracking number on it. I sent you the tracking number. Where we could both track it. And you keep asking me if I got the package, but you're not using the tracking number. But yeah. So yeah, I went food shopping and whatnot, but yes. Oh, also, fuck the rest of y'all because, the girl texted me back. You had me freaking out that, like, she thought I was, like, a stalker and shit. She texted me back, so screw you guys. The package is still in transit. But sometimes it's delivered and then doesn't show for a few days in Japan. What I do? Oh, it wasn't you guys, but it was just kind of chat in general. Y'all were freaking me the fuck out that this girl thought I was gonna, like, stalk her and murder her. When all I was doing was just trying to be friends with her. But yeah. Anyway, I have dinner in front of me. I made sandwiches. So we're gonna do react content that while I eat. So I am fucking starving. I am very, very hungry. And We really haven't done React content as much as I had. I'd stuff flounder. Ooh, that sounds good. But yeah, my head's a little out of it today because of that kind of news. I mean, it was good because like the golf round was really long, and the fact that I was out of it made me kind of sleepwalk through it. So it made it seem to go by faster. But yeah, it's just, it kind of threw me for a loop big time. But yeah. Anyway, we'll start with, we went to North Korea to get a haircut from Boy Boy. And then, oh, actually, we're going to start with companies during Pride Month. Because I think that'll be funny. So let me get things set up. This. Okay. Actually, I'll leave this for when more people get in. But we'll start with, we went to North Korea to get a haircut by Boy Boy, and I did a thing. There we go. Pin it. Chat, give it a watch. Watch it alongside. But yeah, let's get going.
North Korea, the most dangerous country in the world. Infamous for its bizarre and brutal regime, run by a crazy dictator who won't let anyone in or out. But these guys, they just want a haircut.
So, why would we go all the way to North Korea just to get a haircut? Well, to answer that question, we've got to open our history books to page 1. Korea.
Korea spent the first half of the 20th century as a colony of the brutal Japanese Empire. As Japan withdrew after World War II, the Koreans gained independence, elected a socialist government, and things were pretty sweet in Korea. For about 2 months. Cue the big fellas. The guys who had just won World War II decided to move in. So, they randomly divided the country along the 38th parallel, with the south under US control and the north under the Soviet Union. In the communist north, Kim Il-sung continued the land reform of the socialist government, forcing landlords and their sympathizers to flee south. But in the south, things were a little bit trickier. The Americans expelled the socialist government and brought back the Japanese guys that everyone loved so much, and whoever didn't love them was forced to flee north. Fueled by the two competing
Hi, Ori. Hi, Emily.
superpowers, this division led to all-out war in 1950, and, fearing the spread of communism, Uncle Sam and all his buddies went to town on the north.
We burned down every town in North Korea. We killed off 20% of the population. General Curtis LeMay. That's crazy. Also, Ari and Emily, I have a video for you in a little bit. Oh, sorry. This is before Boy Boy edited so that people can view it on stream. So there's some TOS.
So, what do you think, Pretty touching. Tugs at the older hearts.
Oh, God. Legacy weighs on the North Korean psyche to this day.
What do you think, Pretty touching. Tugs at the older hearts.
No. I told you not to put that in there. You can't just have dead babies in the first minute of the documentary. No one's going to watch it now.
I would have said it's pretty eye-opening.
No, it was stupid. So, what do we know about North Korea today? Well, we know for a fact that even saying Kim Jong-un's name will boost your ratings no matter where you are in the world.
Le dictateur nord-coréen Kim Jong-un.
The leader Kim Jong-un.
North Korea का संगीतज्ञ शाह Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong. Kim Jong.
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong. Kim Jong.
This North Korean guy never fails to impress.
One of the most dangerous countries in the world today.
Can strike Americans where they live.
Even the school kids are ready for war.
The rogue state.
Rogue state.
Rogue state.
Conducted its fourth nuclear test.
Threatening a preemptive nuclear attack.
The U.S. is increasingly being held nuclear hostage.
You can see dead people.
How the fuck is the United States being held nuclear hostage? God damn. How? It's amazing how the United States and the people that support the imperialist mission can always find a way to victimize themselves.
People everywhere in the street.
With torture, rape, forced abortion, and execution.
Wow.
Did they just describe America? Did they just describe America? Because that's what fucking America is. Like, what the fuck? Got a second date booked for Wednesday. No more multi-date days for Emily. Gonna wait and see how this works out. First dates are like interviews. Second dates are different. Girl says she may be open to poly at some point, but I'm not gonna start shit with her in a dishonest way. That's interesting.
That place seems absolutely awful. But surely it's not all bad news. I mean, they do normal stuff too, right?
No, nothing is normal. Not even the boring stuff. Not even haircuts.
New hairstyle that's getting a lot of attention.
Men now have to wear their hair just like their leader.
Under orders to get a Kim Jong-un haircut.
Have to cut their hair off.
Poly is super common in my community. Oh, I know. It is crazy. Like, looking back at all the propaganda we believed about North Korea, it's insane to believe this shit.
Kim Jong-un's distinctive hairstyle.
And once again, edgy comedians, TV presenters, and advertisers all band together to make exactly the same joke.
To ask pedestrians, can we own you?
How many haircuts did you get today? Oon. You've been unified.
Understand how unbelievably weird North Korea is.
We're just going to take a little off the top.
Justin Bieber. Anne Hathaway.
With a ridiculous haircut and nuclear arms.
They're not gonna blow me up.
Anne Hathaway. So, the only problem here is that the haircut law never existed.
If we dig through the sources back to the original article that started this viral story, we arrive in Washington, D.C. at a news company called Radio Free Asia. The original article is based entirely on unnamed sources, quotes plucked out of thin air. But, regardless of its unverifiable origin...
Chat. For those that don't know, Radio Free Asia is literally a propaganda arm of the United States government. So everything coming out of there is always going to be super anti-communist, no matter what. So if you hear anything from a source like that, or from that source, take it with an enormous grain of salt. Also, another fun one I like to point out was Kim Jong-un's dad played golf, and people in Asia score golf differently than people in America. People in America will add everything up at the end, and then they'll see what they are relative to par. In Asia, when they keep score on each individual hole relative to par. So if you're if it's a par 4 and you shoot a 5, they would write down +1. If it's a par 5, you shoot a 4, they would write -1. So Kim Jong-un's dad, it was claimed that he shot like 8 holes in one. Because on the scorecard, there's like 8 ones on the scorecard, right? But he didn't at all. So then the rest of the world kind of ran with it. And then North Korea is like, yeah, fine, we'll steer into this kid. He's so good that we'll say that he shot 8 holes in one round.
It gripped international media.
I don't even remember what Kim Jong-un's dad's name is. Is it Kim Il-sung? No, Kim Jong-il. Kim Il-sung was the founder of North Korea. Kim Jong-il. Yeah, I believe it was Kim Jong-il allegedly scored 8 holes in one, but it was literally just media being stupid and misreading the scorecard.
Media, and everyone was ready to cash in.
It seems an exciting news story comes out of North Korea every month.
The North Korean government has announced that it found a unicorn.
North Korean official was just executed for bad posture.
Apparently after slouching at a public event.
May have fallen asleep at a meeting. The regime often uses grotesque methods.
He was stripped naked, thrown into a cage, before being eaten alive by 120 starving dogs.
Kim and his brother observed the 1-hour ordeal.
Did you hear that one? That Kim Jong-un abducts squads of girls to pleasure him?
Handpicked based on good looks and measurements.
Holy shit. But did you hear about the time he tried to ban sarcasm?
I want you to know that your ban on sarcasm is a great idea. And by the way, that haircut, amazing.
What the haircut law and all these other amazing stories share in common is that at the very center of this media whirlwind, they're based on absolutely nothing. It starts to feel a little bit peculiar that every month we're bombarded by hundreds of identical copies of a lie, telling us that somewhere out there's a regime that enforces conformity and lies to its people.
But just because these stories can viciously and frantically whirl around and multiply in popular media...
That is kind of ironic. That is kind of ironic that we're getting hundreds of people saying the exact same lie to get us to conform when they're claiming that said country is making laws to demand that their people conform.
Doesn't mean everyone believes it. We decide to go test it out in Newtown. Located in Sydney's inner west, Newtown is a cultural hub for the alternative, progressive and free-thinking free spirits of the city. The exact opposite of North Korea. This place is the cutting edge of edgy fashion. It's seriously cool. I mean, Coldplay filmed a music video here. We decide to see what the average Newtonian thinks.
Have you heard the news that every man in North Korea is required to get the same haircut as Kim Jong-un?
Have heard the news?
Yeah, something like that. It doesn't surprise me anyway.
Haircut.
Yeah, like the same haircut that Kim Jong-un has.
You know, that's very old news.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
I mean, North Korea is renowned for a lot of bizarre puritanical concepts coming out of there.
Yeah, I have heard that. Yeah, that's correct. Read that somewhere.
Wouldn't they all look like Kim Jong-un as well? I don't think you'd get mistaken for him everywhere, especially over in North Korea.
Yeah.
What if you want to grow up long like me, like, you know? It's the way of life. It's like everyone does it, and I think the law is probably like almost blurred between what their actual ideology is because they're so sort of brainwashed, I guess.
Do you think anything like this could ever be imposed in Australia?
Fun fact, brainwashing came from American soldiers American POWs coming back to the United States and claiming that American was an imperial state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And everybody in the United States is like, oh, there's no way that they would be able to come to these conclusions on their own. And therefore, they must have been brainwashed, which then started the United States trying to develop brainwashing capabilities, which is like MK Ultra, etc. and it failed because they couldn't do it. They would never regulate haircuts in the U.S. Shit, don't look behind that link.
I reckon they'd have a hard time getting it to work in Newtown.
Definitely, like look at where we are now.
Yeah, that is Newtown.
Everyone is so different and unique.
Like Newtown, for instance, you know, where everyone dresses to their own, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Do you know why? Like,
just the nature of our political system and the level of freedom we have as individuals.
There is no real form of self-expression.
Exactly.
You know, take away individuality, really. You know.
I would not get the same haircut just because someone else is doing it.
Not in Australia. No. It's too developed.
No, it's impossible for me.
How did you decide to grow your beautiful, long, luscious hair?
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know.
People should have the right to just look the way they want to look.
Yeah, I agree with her.
This is great.
How did you decide to grow such long, luscious hair? Your long, luscious hair. Such long, luscious hair. Long and luscious right now. Beautiful.
Likewise.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I grew up, you know, on the beach pretty much where everybody just had long hair, so it's been like this for years.
Yeah. I saw his hair.
I live in Newtown, what do you think?
It turns out the worldwide...
I love when they do that shit. When they, like, oh, nobody would ever, like, copy someone's hair or whatever, and then they literally just turn around and be like, oh, how'd you figure out to get your hair done? Oh, I saw this guy do it and I wanted to do it. Emily got me considered dating again. I checked my Hinge today and had, like, from a total babe with a motorcycle, I swooned. Congratulations, Becca. I told chat earlier a story that one of my best friends has a 6-month-old child and got married in the last year, and I had no idea. And I have talked to this person multiple times over the last year and had no idea. Zero clue. Also, the girl texted me back, so fuck you guys. So y'all made me worry for no fucking reason, dicks.
The North Korean clickbait epidemic is worse than we thought.
Oh, also the video we watched yesterday. So I, on the VOD channel, I tagged, actually, I'm just gonna do this. We weren't trying to make you worry, FYI. Yeah, right. You weren't trying to make me worry. You were just trying to, you know, point things out to me. And then I freaked out that I was being seen as someone that would fucking stalk somebody and potentially kill them. Don't know if I can see the older messages, but I got a second date on Wednesday. Anyway, the comment here. TBP, who is Tactical Bacon Productions. That's who we watched the video last night. So I tagged them in the description for the VOD, and they commented on it. I don't know how much of the VOD they watched. They said, to answer your question, my first Last of Us video was before season 2 premiered. That video was only season 1, which is still peak fiction. Then season 2 lost me because I found it boring. To answer your other question about how I edit so many long videos so quickly, the answer is with great difficulty. So I responded to them and I said, that all makes sense. I personally didn't mind season 2, but I'm not as obsessed with it as it was in season 1. I guess I'm very set the bar low, never disappointed person. I only had minimal things I wish they had done different since I knew there would be some liberties taken. I guess I need to figure out how to master the great difficulty that you power through. So it's cool. It was cool that that person went out of their way and put a comment there and listened to my questions. Okay, I'm going to get some more food while I continue the video. So I'll be right back.
We have to find out the truth for ourselves.
We decided we had to get to the bottom of this once and for all. We have to go to North Korea.
Alex, can you just pretend you're running?
What?
Yeah, I'll put a green screen up. It'll look sick.
You sure?
Yeah, it'll look brilliant, trust me.
Alright. We have to go to North Korea to get a haircut. And there he was, Alexa, a dirty, disgusting hillbilly. He had a large amount of hair, the majority of which he didn't want. And when he showed the hairdresser a picture of the exact amount of hair he wanted, they got rid of the unwanted hair, just like hairdressers do all over the world. And you know what? I think the North Koreans did a great job.
So, it turns out the North Koreans get haircuts just like everyone else in the world does. What an exciting adventure, eh? So, where does that leave us now? Well, the nukes are still a problem. North Korea's tested 4 of them, and that's very scary. But imagine how scary it is for them to think that the US alone has tested 1,032 nukes. Even then, we don't really need to test ours because we know ours work. We've used ours against real people. And you know what? We're not even sorry.
Yep.
What about the news?
Love his song and made a Vocaloid cover of it. Yep. That's the hilarious thing, that the United States gets to dictate who gets nuclear weapons because we're afraid that people are going to use nuclear weapons. Except the United States is the only country that uses nuclear weapons.
Stories about slavery.
And if you apologize for using nuclear weapons and eviscerating hundreds of thousands of people, you get labeled as a anti-American, horrible, horrible person, which is crazy. Did Biden apologize finally? I feel like I heard about one of them apologizing in Japan recently. No, I don't think so. I can't imagine Joe Biden fucking apologizing to Japan. Yeah. Biden won't apologize for U.S. using nuclear weapons on Hiroshima and Japan. That'd be insane. Like, for as much of a war hawk as Joe Biden is, I didn't think there was any fucking way that he would apologize for that.
Slavery. Yes, it is very confronting to hear stories about slavery in North Korea. But for some reason, it's not quite as confronting to watch these stories on your television or your smartphone, which we know are made by slaves. And if you want to talk about the biggest slave drivers in the world, the only reason you're watching me right now is because you purchased a device which is made for you by your own personal slave. And you don't even know his name.
Excuse me. Do you know where the laundry detergent is?
Oh yeah, mate. Aisle 7, next to the sponges.
Thank you very much. What about the prison camps? I mean, it is pretty disgusting when someone does that to their own people. But at the same time, it's a little bit confusing. I mean, what is a prison?
This is probably the apology I thought. Biden apologizes to Native Americans for abusing government-funded boarding schools. One of the most horrific chapters in American history. Government-funded boarding schools that abuse indigenous children and force them to assimilate over a 150-year period. Wait, I didn't hear this about the United States. You heard it all the time about Canada. And you hear about the, I mean, I'm not shocked the United States also did the same shit. That's fucked.
Camp. Like, we have prisons, sure, but the bad guys always seem to have prison camps. It's as if our prisons are just great places. You serious, Alex? It's as if our prisons are just great places to be. Our prisoners are known to burst into song and dance because,
I love how he's doing it from like an American perspective.
well, the amenities are so great and they get to go home.
I guess
when
just
it
a
gets
Western
dark,
powers
but the
perspective.
Prison camps, oh boy, the prisoners are stuck there. They've got walls and guards, and the prisoners get physically and sexually abused. No, prison camp is a useless word. It means nothing. And before you say, no, Alexa, the North Koreans, they put their people in prison for no reason and we don't do that in a democracy. Well, if that's the case, you might need to have a conversation with the Australian Indigenous community or refugees in detention or the Black Lives Matter movement in the States. I mean, these are just examples of people. They could tell you quite a bit about large groups being imprisoned for no reason.
Not only that, they really stole children and adopt them out to white families, and they kind of do that very recently too. Yes. Yeah, that happens all the time. Yep. Instead of, adopting children that are in orphanages now, they just get them fucking kidnapped from indigenous people, so they could be their white savior.
Reason. So what do we do with this word? Well, we could either start saying that we have prison camps, or
Which
just
we
that
do.
North Korea has prisons, which isn't much of a news story, is it? I think it would be much more interesting to focus on the country that has the highest prison population per capita, which is America.
What about the bizarre military parades? That's some pretty confronting stuff. But imagine how confronting it is for them that the largest military exercise in the world happens twice a year on their border.
Yep.
Where the big scary guys that invaded them in the
Also, the United States is about to have a military fucking parade too. This is the most hilarious shit because everything they're saying about North Korea is literally happening in the United States, if not a million times worse. Usually a million times worse.
past, practice invading them all over again. But for an organisation like the military, a parade is the cutest thing they can ever do. Because when an army isn't busy parading, they're busy killing people in actual wars. And yes, North Korea was in the Korean War.
True. If the military are parading around, then they're not killing brown children. That's a good point.
And that sucks. But since then, the US has invaded Guatemala, Egypt, Lebanon, Panama, Vietnam, Dominican Republic, Cambodia, Laos, Angola, Iran, Libya, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Grenada, Bolivia, Virgin Islands, Philippines.
Alex, you're running out of space.
What do you mean? I haven't got to the 90s yet.
No, but you literally can't fit in any more countries.
But what if I move my head like this?
No, look, you've made your point, just finish it.
Alright. But for some reason, North Korea is the dangerous, unpredictable rogue state, and America's just a normal country.
They tend to use these words like
rogue state, prisoner camps,
death squad,
instead of just
country, prison,
the military.
And suddenly, all the brutal stuff that we do doesn't seem quite as bad. Before you know it, we're trapped in this giant, never-ending NutriBullet commercial.
Juicers make juice. Blenders make smoothies. The NutriBullet makes supercharged superfood NutriBlast.
Death squads. They have death squads over there. So glad our army has nothing to do with death. This supercharged superfood NutriBlast is delicious. Fuck regular juice. It seems like all the scary stuff North Korea does, we do on a much larger scale. But then again, we've got pretty good excuses for our violence.
Oh God.
We did not want it to come to this. but we have got to bomb those guys. It's about defending democracy. It's a question of basic human rights.
Don't call them slaves. Those workers in the third world, they're just more competitive. They just want it more.
I don't know. I feel like I've heard these excuses before. Come on, buddy. I'm the last guy that wants to throw you in a prison camp. It's just, what am I meant to do? It's the Supreme Leader's word.
Look, mate, I know this doesn't look good, but the Sun God, he really wants your heart.
Done eating yet? No. Is it coming through the mic?
We all have a unique way of justifying exploitation and violence. The main difference between North Korea and us is that we're winning. Our violence is the strongest. But in order for this media spectacle of North Korea to work, we've got to see the country as this bizarre, violent, rogue state, as this thing that's so different and such a threat to our peaceful and secure international system. But what this process does is it tries to make you forget that our international system has abused mankind far worse than anything this dictator of that tiny country could ever dream of. So what we need to do is we need to agitate and organize to take down capitalist imperialism once and for all. You know, Vladimir Lenin...
Thank you.
It's been a while since I watched this video. It's so well done. It's pretty incredible that, like, they were able to get this high of quality in their content this early. Because their stuff nowadays is so good.
Thank you.
No, I had more.
Thank you, Alexa. You proved your point. It was very enlightening. You can take a seat. Fuck, that was depressing. Let's get some happy music or something. Here we go. Here's something you don't see every day. People having a great time in North Korea. Take it away, girls.
Banger after banger after banger. Oh my God. What do you think was going through that child's head? Chat, I don't know about you, but I mean, they looked pretty happy. They look significantly happier than most Americans. And did you see all the events that they did, like, as a community?
Is this filming? Yeah. So before you say we're unpatriotic traitors for making a film like this, here's a video of Alexa singing the beautiful national anthem on a North Korean bus.
History's patriots, every stage, advance Australia.
Another banger from Boy Boy. They didn't actually show them getting the haircut. It's almost like it was a ruse to get people to click on it. All right. Let's watch I Did a Thing, who is of Boy Boy Productions. Can I survive a wildfire by hiding in a bathtub? Let's see what crazy shit he has gotten into this time. Whoa, what's that called when the title is misleading? Clickbait? Propaganda? Manufacturing consent? Did I hit any of them, Becca? False advertising? False advertising?
How you going? Check out this tree and see if you can spot something I didn't before I bought this place. It's burnt. Every single tree here is burnt. And that's real bad. There's some
Clickbait, I knew it. All right, let's see. I just clickbaited you. Okay. You're just trying to create interaction.
Oh, Rosie, you're so valid. You're so real. You're such a girl. No. I'm an artificial intelligence designed to drain the walls of Republican chasers and turn you transgender. I'm a ploy by the left-wing communist deep state to weaken the men of America so that you can't fight back against the woke agenda. Oh, Rosie, you're so valid. You're so real. You're such a girl. No. I'm an artificial intelligence designed to drain the walls of Republican chasers and turn you transgender. I'm a ploy by the left-wing communist deep state to weaken the men of America so that you can't fight back against the woke agenda, the transgender cult. Praise be to Blaha, she was stuffed for our sins.
Okay, Emily. Also, this is a video I wanted to show earlier. Companies during Pride Month, then versus now.
Hello, beautiful queer people. It's your time to shine. 40% off our gayest apparel. Our profits will soar to the heights of your beautiful pride. Who are you talking to? All of our products have limited edition Pride stickers, only 18% more expensive than the boring straight counterpart. Who is this for? You. I'm not even gay. In June, we're all gay. Permission to use the F slur. What? Not in a harmful way, but in like a playful, reclaiming it kind of way. You are a corporation. And no, then it's not really your place to say whether I can use the F slur then, straight man. This is performative bullshit. You don't even care. You just want to make a few extra bucks and get some positive PR. Do you know how many gay people buy groceries? Happy Pride Month, Corporation. Yeah, happy Pride Month. Yeah, hats off to all those folks. Oh, yeah, here's a little pride flag. Put this up in the store somewhere. There you go. I thought you loved gay people's money. Well, of course. And bisexual. Absolutely. Trans and non-binary people. Sure. What kind of gay deals do you have? Tom Cruise movies are 8% off. What? Gay people from our market research love Tom Cruise. Everyone loves Tom Cruise. Yeah, but in the new Mission Impossible movie, there's a bisexual submarine. A bisexual submarine? Yeah, it's a submarine that's bisexual. This is so typical. The LGBTQ community is under attack. Trans people's rights are being stripped away, and all you care about is profit. What is the minimum amount of gay stuff that we need to do so that you people aren't mad at us? This is bullshit. Look, buddy, you knew this all along. You knew we wouldn't stand for anything real. Why are you mad? It's just disappointing. The world is getting worse, and this performative Pride Month stuff just feels like something from a better, more civilized time. Permission to use the
That's
F slur
crazy.
in a playful, reclaiming it kind of way? Sure.
I do not love Tom Cruise straight people propaganda. I mean, I don't either. The guy is literally like the VIP of a fucking cult.
Some idiot made all of them out of wood. You know what's also made out of wood? My new house. So what am I going to do if a bushfire does rip through the property? Or even worse, what if there are marauders? Could I survive by hiding in your normal household objects like your bathtub? Or am I just cooked?
Okay. It is a little bit terrifying that I Did a Thing now owns property, because I think he's going to do stuff that's significantly more dangerous, which is crazy because he was doing a lot of shit that was very dangerous for a long time.
All right, now I'm picking 3 things to attempt to survive in. And the first is the bathtub. And it makes sense if you don't think about it very hard. It's made out of steel, it's wet, and it's a contained space. And there was a really interesting article published by a fire coroner that showed that around 50% of people that die in their house are located in their bathroom and even the bathtub. And I don't think that's because they were dropping their kids off at the pool when the fire came through. It's probably because it feels like the safer room filled with less flammable objects than my garage. So I'm going to do the best case scenario and get a cast iron bathtub filled with water and then put a wet towel on top. My flawed logic here is if water filters smoke in a bong, surely it will work with a wet towel in a bath. Next we got your fridge. Well, not your fridge. I couldn't work out where you live. I'm getting the exact fridge from the Indiana Jones movie where Harrison Ford hid in it and survived a nuclear blast and then got shingles. And fridges are a pretty common movie escape trope, but I'm not sure there is anything safe about them as they are covered in toxic plastic, have a compressor, and are usually filled with stinky fish. Then for all you Americans, we have a fireproof gun safe, and it's got walls made out of steel and gyprock, which is meant to insulate it and keep the temperature under 150 degrees. And this sounds a lot better than a fridge, but I don't know, as even if you don't die from the heat, unlike the guns in the safe, you need oxygen to survive.
I was going to say, there's no oxygen.
I'm going to put a thermometer in each with an oxygen and a CO2 reader, so we will know exactly how effective they are. But first, I'm going to do a small-scale test. And this ain't looking good for the mini bath, as after only a minute of this tiny house being on fire, the water was already boiling. But maybe it'll be different with a bigger bath. For the fireproof safe, I made this box, which is gyprock mined straight from the source, some felt, and then sheet metal. And this is pretty promising. I kept this flame against it for like 10 minutes, and the heat inside didn't go up at all. And inside is cold. But I don't think we learned anything from this small test, except not to give a 3-year-old a powerful laser.
Ow! Okay.
Which means I need a real house to burn. Heads, I burn down this house. Tails, I need to make one. So the first step in building a house is getting 2...
Chat, do you get it? Do you get it? All those other coins he flipped and were heads. So he had to keep filming until he got a tails. So he didn't burn down his house.
Mates to do all the work. Dan and Liam. Dan builds houses for hippies in the mountains, and Liam is a professional architect with a YouTube channel. Mates that have different names will also work for building a house. So if anything goes wrong, we all know who's at fault. And at first, I thought I'd spend
New John Oliver's talking about air traffic control. Yeah, Escal told me. And Escal told me I'd be happy with it, but I'd also want to flip the table too. I wouldn't recommend burning down a house. Yeah, obviously. Duh.
$1,000 on wood. But why would I do that when I can buy a $2,500 chainsaw and then spend an hour ruining the bar to make an Alaskan mill, which allows you to turn anything wooden into more wood? You know what they say, give a man a stinky fish and he'll eat it, but give a man a chainsaw and he'll be eating stinky fish for life. But I did forget that the wood of this tree is still very wet, and the same with the giant gum tree that fell down on the property. So this ain't gonna be good building material or burn very well. So instead we stole the neighbor's trailer and headed down to the local tip.
All right, let's jack it up and take it. Yeah, I like that. I mean, you can't really hide in a dunny though. Maybe you could hide a baby in a dunny.
And after almost getting into a fight with a man about a hoe.
You got the hoe?
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, hoe's on the house. Enjoy your hoe.
We somehow got everything we needed to burn, including a Chubb fireproof safe, a fridge, and a cast iron bath, all from one tip.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the tip didn't have much good wood though, but we met some tradies who gave us some free concrete formwork. So then we pointed at a plan and worked out that the tradies' wood was not going to be enough. So we also had to buy some pine for the walls and frame. And we tried to get the untreated stuff, but there is still some pretty nasty chemicals in plywood, similar to cigarettes. And I mean exactly the same as cigarettes. And we're kind of just making our own version of an IKEA burnable house, where we pre-make all the walls in the neighbor's garage, and then hopefully can just walk them over and nail them in place. And the first wall looks like a floor.
Wait, you can't! He can't do that. He can't. What? He's walking between the studs. How did the wood not break? Oh, that's some thick ass plywood though.
But that's because it's on the floor and not on the wall. Then the other walls came together perfectly. So once we had a big stack of walls, we moved on to the floor, which we were going to make in one giant piece.
Still insists on not wearing
how
shoes.
long I wanted to use one of these. Like legally, I signed an NDA and I can't. But it's my new favorite tool. And it's crazy to think that a tool company watched my hammer gun video and made a more functional version of it. And we did forget about the weight of the floor and almost made it too heavy to move. And after an hour of moving panels to the top of the hill, we realized we could have just made everything up there. And you would think that with the combined brain power of a YouTuber, architect, and builder, that this whole build would come together smoothly, and we would be able to get the basics like wall dimensions right. But somehow we either stuffed up the floor or the wall. So we took it back down and weren't pissed off at all.
Pull it off.
I have a friend who now works for the lesbian store. She just works at Lowe's. Jesus Christ.
Throughout this whole building process, there was a constant feeling of everything being completely pointless. Like usually the things I make are useless, but I've never put this much effort into something whose only purpose is to be destroyed. Which resulted in Dan, Liam and I constantly arguing about what to do.
Missed.
I wanted zero effort, Liam wanted it to just stand upright, and Dan thought we were actually building him a real house. And we didn't want to break the illusion and tell him we were burning it all down, so we
Y'all, you need to communicate with your fellow workers. You need to communicate with them so they know what the goals are.
let him do a fancy thing called bird mouths on the rafters. And look, I'll tell you a secret. Some of my other subscribers have been saying some pretty nasty stuff about you. They said, Paul, you're a nice guy, but you're real stupid. And you don't know what a bird's mouth is. They also said some stuff about your sister, but we all know that's true. So Paul, a bird's mouth is this joint right here. And it's for the rafters, so they sit nicely on the walls. And it makes no difference at all. But remember, Dan thinks this is actually his house.
Not correct?
Incorrect.
Incorrect. What's happened? Doesn't reach?
Well, no. Not by a long shot.
So we tried for an hour or two to make one, but couldn't even get one of them right. So we just called it a day and went fishing.
That tool's down, we're going fishing.
Let's go, let's go.
God damn. Holy shit, that's some good fish in there.
Look at that. It's the sponsor of today's video, Odoo.
Ethical Reacts, Ethical Reacts, Ethical Reacts.
Management software that provides entrepreneurs like me with a range of applications to simplify the day-to-day management of their business, including invoicing, accounting, project management, website creation, and more. Today I'm focusing on the Odoo Inventory application, which is essential for any business looking to manage its stocks effectively and adaptively with advanced features like barcode management, smart storage rules, and complete traceability. It offers a comprehensive solution to maximize productivity and minimize errors. It allows you to efficiently manage inventory, effortlessly organize your shelves and aisles, and automate product routing from your warehouse and other retail points. Also, if you're doing the picking and packing, you can optimize your processes with smart strategies such as wave, cluster, and batch picking, as well as first in, first out, last in, first out, and average costs. I love that. What about you want to do some real-time tracking? Well, Odoo has that as well, and you can stay updated on stock levels, expiration dates, and product movements. With the integrated barcode scanner, you can easily register the incoming stock to the warehouse in seconds, saving you from redundant manual work. So start saving time in your warehouse and streamline the flow with Odoo Inventory. Click my link in the description to get started with Odoo. The first app is free for life with unlimited hosting and support. Okay, day 2, and we're back to doing bird mouths. And that worked this time. So we cut 1 billion more and then just slapped on the roof. Then nibbled some tin sheet before slapping that on.
How can you not know if you're circumcised, though?
Pretty sure I am. I just don't want to make my Dad feel uncomfortable asking.
Use your promo link for Udo. Thank you, Emily. Don't know how to pin. If you hover over the message in Twitch chat, when you're in mod mode, you can pin it. But leave the video link pinned.
And there we go. There was only one more thing to make.
All right, let me check. Don't put the drill back in.
And now the cabin is done. But I forgot something pretty major. There might, maybe, possibly, definitely be a total fire ban. So we can't legally light it on fire. And usually I would do it anyway, but people aren't going to be happy if I set the whole area on fire while making a video about fire safety, which means we are going to have to wait a month for the fire ban to end and also get permission from the fireman. And that's also the end of Liam and Dan. So go check out Liam's YouTube channel where he makes things slightly better than I do on his channel Morosi Makes. Okay, 1 month later. It's moldy and wet. We're going to have to dry it out somehow. The cabin is fairly dry now.
Not going to believe what I'm having to do right now. Are you about to see an ad at the top of the hour? Because the top of every hour, run a 3-minute ad. If you want to avoid the ads, you can pay $5.99 for a subscription or get lucky and get gifted a sub, or link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free monthly subscription from Daddy Bezos to your favorite streamer. Hopefully that's me. If it's not me, then hopefully it's one of my friends. But here comes the 3-minute ad break now. Whew. Have you seen that jet engine video already? Yes, I have. It was insane. It was insane. Kako, you better give me a 10 out of 10 on that one.
So we waited for a non-windy night when my mates were feeling pretty hungry.
And there's a chicken in there.
Yeah, there's a chicken in there.
Aww.
Would you like to write anything nice on the walls?
No, I'd like to put that over here.
Tell me where you want to put it, please.
Right here. Step ladder into the...
ruins the shot.
No, it doesn't.
Also, who has a bathtub in their living room with their safe? All of this is wrong already.
Not everyone's a rich YouTuber. Some people have to live like this.
So inside the fridge, safe, and bath, I put some chickens, thermometer, and an oxygen reader. And the sensors aren't fireproof, but they don't need to be, because if they melt, we'll know it was hot. And here are my predictions. The fridge chicken is going to be completely gone. Bath chicken is going to boil. And I reckon the chicken in the...
I feel like one day I'll pop in and it'll be Reacteria. Not sure when, but one day. That day's today. That was literally the next video I was going to.
Safe might survive, but will suffocate.
Smells good. Is it going all over your feet?
Is it? Is that enough?
Scissors, paper, rock. Scissors, paper, rock.
Chili.
Hey, Chili, you got it. You got limited time.
Please.
One day you'll read Reacteria. No, not getting it right. My brother wanted proof that Iman and Tamir were legit, so I asked Iman to break down stats about where money goes. She did. My brother then said the only way I can get a proof would basically have a FaceTime call. I said, I can literally arrange that right now. So we had a 3-way call where Tamir showed that he was, in fact, in a tent in Khan Yunis. Then they said, call us back in an hour when the sun rises so we could show you more. Dude. Holy shit, Keiko. They were literally awake at that time? Do they just never sleep? You guys are like torturing them to prove they're real so that they can, you know, get all your, so they get more resources to not die.
Oh!
Whoa!
To the bathtub!
And I'm not sure why we had so much trouble lighting this cabin full of petrol, so I tried again with my favorite cocktail.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Holy.
And place your bets now on what's going to happen to me when I run in.
They woke up from text. Yes, I was very apologetic, and thankfully they were like, please do call us because we don't want people to think we're scamming. I feel like you should record all that shit. Imagine having to keep ledgers in a war to prove to someone they aren't doing drugs or something. Yeah. Dude, that's just a mirror brain though. Because that's like shit that they've been propagandizing us since the 80s. That poor people are actually using money to use drugs and not using it to not die.
Into the cabin to get the intro shot of me running out. A, I get burnt. B, I find a penny. And C, I forgot that I shattered glass on the ground and cut open my foot.
What is going on?
I'm sorry. What? What happened there?
And place your bets now on what's going to happen to me when I run into the cabin to get the intro shot of me running out. A, I get burnt. B, I find a penny. And C, I forgot that I shattered glass on the ground and cut open my foot.
What is going on? Should have put on the...
That's bad. That's really bad.
What?
You know what I completely forgot about?
What?
The fact that is filled with glass.
Oh!
I've got a really deep cut on the bottom.
Oh!
Oh.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cut. That's a good cut.
Okay.
So after patching
thank
up
God
my
they
foot and
censored it.
putting on shoes, we refilled the cabin with petrol.
He put on
and tried again.
shoes? Oh.
Oh, no. Is that meant to happen, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yep, we're out. I reckon we do it.
I think hands the only way.
Yeah, go.
Whoa!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whoa! What the?
And you don't need me to explain what just went wrong there, but I'm lucky, stupidly lucky.
What the fuck happened?
I was like, yeah, you should probably go light it by hand.
What the fuck happened?
Oh yeah, we don't want to be too close to this.
God damn.
Have a guess as to what temperature it is inside.
2000.
I like to build from this angle. Holy fuck. Dude, it's over 600 degrees in there. You can feel the heat from here.
Yeah, it's just hot.
What the?
Gotta watch out for everything around you. I mean, we can't.
Really, watch out.
Wait.
Hi, Ari. Wait, I love that emote. That's like a better emote compared to this one.
Could we, yeah, I don't think that water's gonna do anything. We call the... Wait, grab that, whatever that is down there.
Oh my God.
Careful, careful.
It's by Amun.
Holy
I love it.
Dude, this is not good.
I should get I should get.
start
Ooh,
spraying it?
I was gonna say I keep saying
Right,
I get
cabin's
Rosie to
going
do it.
up.
I guess I could ask
It's
Ari to
already
do
over
it too.
700 degrees Celsius, and it's so hot.
But I'm
that we had
broke.
absolutely no chance of.
So I wouldn't be
doing
able to
this
pay
even
you.
if we wanted to.
Sorry.
We couldn't get within 10 meters of it.
You're doing a good job.
And you know, previously when I saw the houses of celebrities and influencers burn down, I didn't care. But knowing it could happen to me and seeing how hard it was to control this small burn has definitely encouraged me to get some firefighting equipment of my own.
Oh, here we go.
Which is really good that we picked a wet day with no wind, as the fire still
Yeah,
seems
that would've been
contained.
bad.
But if the wind picks up and these embers change direction, we could be in a lot of trouble.
Well, I think that's the worst of it.
So the first thing to go was the roof, which knocked the bathtub through the floor. And I sound like an idiot saying this, but I just couldn't believe how hot the fire was. So I'm changing my prediction. No chicken is surviving this. So after we let it burn for an hour, which is a much shorter time than a real house would be on fire, we started putting it out. And it wasn't looking good for the bath chickens or the fridge chickens.
Water's boiling in the left side, but you just get...
Boiled alive.
Oh my God.
Okay, well
That
I
is
feel like we got...
fucking insane. The cast iron tub full of water was boiling. That's how hot that shit was. God fucking damn it. My local mosque has been putting on like a large charity event every year since 2023 that they invite everyone to. They fundraise for a community kitchen in Gaza. That's amazing.
Don't need to check on the chickens at this point. Like, there's a pretty certain thing, yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit dumb for ever thinking that there might be something to this video at all.
Let me get the plate in there as well. Oh,
Actually looks well cooked.
Is it cooked? Is the chicken cooked?
delicious.
But it's just...
Whoa.
It's fucking cooked?
It's so moist.
And somehow the chickens tasted amazing.
They're
even
eating
with
it?
the aftertaste of burnt towel. But before
They just acknowledged that they literally burned this thing down with gasoline and acknowledged that it has chemicals in it. And the chicken was cooked. And now they're eating the chicken. What the fuck are they doing? Chat, don't do this at home.
Before we open up the fridge and safe, we're going to wait till it cools down in the morning. And the most impressive thing about this is not the fire, but the fact that the bathtub fell through the floor and still stayed upright.
How did the bathtub land exactly on its legs?
Yeah, like Looney Tuned.
Still safer than U.S. chickens?
This is the fridge chicken.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, look how good that looks.
Wait, pick it up. Oh!
I don't think the fridge is going to work, chat, to avoid a wildfire.
So don't hide in the fridge.
Don't hide in the fridge.
Oh my
That
God.
actually looks pretty, almost a little bit good.
Ooh, you don't know the combination to the safe.
What? The knobs melted. That was metal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This looks delicious. Where did the thermometer go? You can't negotiate with a fire.
You can't argue with a fire.
You just have to get as far away from it as possible.
You know, if there is actually a bushfire, the only thing to do is get out of there, because that's the only way to actually stay safe.
God damn.
Definitely chuck some chickens in the bath, as you'll have the most delicious chicken dinner to come back to.
Chat, don't try to stay at home when there's a wildfire going on. That's the moral of this one. All right, let's have some fun. Let's have some more fun. This is my favorite song in the world, Rhapsody in Blue. Yo, Kiko, me too, what the fuck? Wait, what song? The one at the end of the video?
That's definitely chicken dinner to come back to.
Oh. Dear Little Mal, we are the same. Are you the same? Are you? All right, chat. Ask how. Most of these videos are at least 30 minutes long. The Creationism one is an hour long. Fuck it. Let's watch it. All right. You better have given that last video a like, a thumbs up,
Check out this tree.
and subscribe to the channel. Because I Did a Thing does hilarious content with Boy Boy. All right, so let's do this video by Forrest Valkai. Reacteria. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. I don't really care, though. But here it is. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute. For use that might otherwise be considered infringement, nonprofit, educational, and personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video is made for the purposes of education and entertainment and is very obviously transformative in nature. Too long, didn't read. Only a whiny baby or blithering idiot or copyright claim this video. React and bacteria. Reacteria. Oh, I got it. Reacteria, I got it.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Reacteria.
Oh, I would have got it right there.
The other day, I was tagged in a TikTok video where a woman named Brenna was lamenting the fact that the theory of evolution was taught as a fact in her public high school.
One thing that always really rubbed me the wrong way when I was going to a public high school was the fact that the theory of evolution was taught as fact. It was always either the theory of evolution or the Big Bang Theory, and it was never really any other.
Cal, why did you introduce me to this shit? This shit is gonna make me rage. People don't understand the difference of the English definition of theory and the scientific definition of theory. The English definition of theory is something that is not exactly proven correct with evidence and everything like that, meaning it is a theory, it is a speculation. The scientific definition of theory is literally something that has been proven, but they only place it as a theory in order to allow it to be researched later on to maybe disprove this theory and actually come up with a better theory. Well, Mao, he covers this. He's a scientist. Okay.
Option. And deep down, I knew that it was wrong because I believe what the Bible says. I believe that we have a creator, but I didn't know how to defend.
That's because you can't defend it because it's literally a fiction book. It's a fiction book. It's not real. It was made up by fucking people. The Bible is literally a bunch of anecdotal stories discussing the proper ways to live your life. It is not fucking facts. Chat, we're 30 seconds. We're 30 seconds into this video, and I'm screaming right now.
In her video, she mentioned that she had just watched another video from someone named Will Spencer called What Your Teachers Won't Tell You About Evolution, and the rest of her video was just parroting the things that she had learned from him. Now, I already released a response to her video in which I encouraged her to get her science education from people who actually care about this stuff because Will obviously does not. But I did make it a point to watch Will's entire video in order to better understand where Brenna was coming from. And as soon as I did, I knew I had to talk about it here. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky for me as a professional content creator. You may not think about this out there in the audience, but I have about 1.4 million followers on TikTok and about 300,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and that means that I need to be very careful about who I make videos about and the tone of those videos, because this is the internet, and it's very easy to come across as bullying a smaller content creator when someone with a larger platform rains a bunch of negative attention down on them. It's a major problem with the internet industry, and I'm trying not to be a part of it. Now, Brenna has about 420,000 followers
And then proceeds to be a part of it.
on TikTok, so I had no problem making a video about her.
But yes. When people are fucking grifters, they deserve to be exposed.
Especially because my response was relative.
They deserve to be exposed. They don't deserve hatred and vitriol being lobbed at them, I will say. They don't deserve that. They deserve to be exposed, though, for the grifters that they are.
Kind, but Will Spencer only has about 10,000 subs here on YouTube, which means I usually wouldn't respond to somebody like him because it's just a bad look. It encourages bad behavior, and I don't want to be a part of that. But he already has really good editing and a great looking studio, and he's already released hundreds of other equally inflammatory videos, so it's pretty clear to me that this is the kind of attention that he's looking for, not to mention the fact that this video has already reached a larger creator.
Ghost, why do you dislike creationism if you are a content creator? Otto, what's the definition of creationism? Could you let me know?
Who is now broadcasting it to a much larger audience. Most importantly, however, some of the things that Will says in this video are
Creating content? No. That's not the definition of creationism, Otto. God, my feed is part lesbian thirst traps, part trans content creators, part fashion tips, and then this. What are you... Emily, I'm scared. I'm scared to... Oh. Oh. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I don't know if I can show this stuff on stream. Yeah. You have an interesting algorithm, Emily.
Deeply problematic, and I guarantee you will not be able to predict just how far off the rails it goes. It's pretty obvious from my perspective that Will here has bought into some nonsense, and now, as an aspiring creator, is repeating that nonsense in an attempt to grow an audience by sharing shocking information, and that sucks. But it's no reason for me to treat him like a baby. Whether he realizes it or not, the arguments that he makes and the language that he uses are deceptive and harmful, and some of them are just downright crazy. And I'm going to treat them as such. But as I do...
Aspiring creators are creationists. They're not. They're not, Otto. I know you're making a joke here, but like this is kind of a serious topic because creationists literally are denying scientific facts and reasoning. And if you deny scientific facts and reasoning, people fucking die. But I appreciate you trying to make light of this situation and make jokes about it.
I just want to be very clear that I am not now, nor am I ever, encouraging you, the audience, to go harass somebody on my account. One last quick thing before we get started. I just want to take a second to thank my patrons on Patreon and my channel members here on YouTube. They are the reason why I'm able to dedicate so much time to content creation and also traveling for speeches and hosting charity events and so many other things. If you can, please consider joining one of those two illustrious groups by using the links down below this video. And if
I've gotten ads for the Creation Museum while watching Twitch before, recently too. Yeah, that's because right-wing grifters pump money into that shit. Because if they get creationists to vote for their... If they get people to believe creationism, then they can continue to further exploit us. Creationists have been dumb for 5,000 years. I wouldn't worry too much about it. True. They've been dumb for 5,000 years, but they now run our government, Otto. So, sorry.
If not, that's totally okay. Just please make sure that you like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And I'd also like to show you this brief message from today's sponsor, Brilliant. Are you tired of boring lectures?
Ethical reacts. Ethical reacts.
To understand science? Well, it's time for a change. Introducing Brilliant, the next level of learning. This isn't your typical classroom experience. With Brilliant, you'll dive hands-on into interactive lessons in math, science, programming, AI, and more. And best of all, you'll learn by doing, not just
How old's
by
this video?
watching videos. Boy, all this
Oh, it's 2 months
sitting
old?
behind a desk being a young person sure has got my brain hungry for knowledge. Is there an app that's just for me? Pay attention! With Brilliant, you're not just passively absorbing information, you'll be solving real-world problems right from the start. Whether you're
The Creation Museum, there's proof that humans and dinosaurs coexisted.
Oh my god, I love the good liars.
Not creepy at all.
What the fuck?
So here at the Creation
No, I'm not going to use Brilliant. I'm going to keep on watching videos aimed to get me worried and frustrated.
interactive problem-solving approach makes learning fun. It's like having your own personal tutor in your pocket.
That's fair.
24/7.
That's fair. That's what we do when we do React content.
Full access to everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days.
30 days?
You'll also get 20% off an annual subscription to Brilliant Premium. That's a deal you won't find anywhere else.
Brilliant Premium?
Brilliant.org/ForrestValkai.
Chat, are you praying to God that I don't get big enough where I get sponsorships where I have to do these commercials?
Scan the QR code on the screen or use the link in the description to learn more. And once you do, be sure to check out their scientific thinking course. It enhances, engorges, and expands your mind all at the same time. The clock is ticking. The world is changing. You've got one chance to up.
No, I actually wish you got big enough to have your own code somewhere. I wish I got big enough that I got supported by viewers and I wouldn't have to take sponsorships like this. That's what I'm saying. Nah, these spawns don't bother me. See, when I need a break from that, I watch trash anime. Like, it has to be bad enough that I can multitask while watching, but not bad enough that I can't bear to hear it in the background. Isn't that what you have the Ned Ghostwriter broadcast for, Emily?
Upgrade your brain. don't let this opportunity pass you by. Go to brilliant.org/BorisValkai, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen right now to get started today. Results may vary. Not
Right
responsible
now.
for any accidental enlightenment or excessive amounts of knowledge. Side effects may include spontaneous bouts of trivia, excessive reading, or occasional overuse of big words.
Multitasking ruins your brain. Stop multi-screening. Seriously, it helped me so much. I don't think Emily was talking about multi-screening. I think Emily was talking about doing other stuff while it was playing in the background. So like cleaning or something like that.
Words at parties. A brilliant subscription may cause jealousy among your peers, but that's not your fault. Do not use while operating heavy machinery, riding a bike, or attending weddings, especially your own. App is not compatible with Windows 95, dial-up internet, or rotary phones. Must be 200 years or older to access secret magical features. Cell phone not included. And now, at long last, let's listen to Will Spencer talk to us about evolution.
If you've grown up in the West over the past 150 years or so, then every institution you've known, including science, technology, education, medicine, and more, has been shaped by one theory: Darwin's theory of evolution.
Now, right off the bat, we're in a pretty precarious situation, because what Will just said, in layman's terms and at face value, is pretty true. But the language that he's using and the underlying message of the video are deceptive. Science and medicine and education and all these other things are indeed shaped by the theory of evolution. But that's because the theory of evolution, like any good scientific theory, has great utility in both explaining and influencing the world around us. Evolution shapes medicine because
I only move one finger at a time to concentrate maximum neuron power levels.
without it, we would have no idea about the evolutionary development of organs, or how things like cancer work, or how to treat the effects of and prevent the spread of many common pathogens. Consider, for example, why you need a new flu shot every year. The flu virus is constantly evolving every single time it spreads to a new host.
Okay.
And that
Okay, but here's the problem. The people that you are talking to, the creationists that you're talking to, don't believe in vaccines either. So when you say the reason you have to take a new flu shot every year, they're not going to fucking care. But I know his audience that he's going for are people that are creationism flirting.
That means that new strains pop up all the time. Using epidemiological data and a good understanding of evolution, we can predict.
He's not talking to creationists. He's going for the undecided. Pre-watch? Pre-watch, S-Cow? Oh my God, does that prove that my stream is pre-recorded? So Otto was right the whole time? Does that prove that my stream is pre-recorded, that S-Cow sent that message at the exact same time that I said it? Otto, I know true multitasking does not exist. We are always switching just fast. I know this, but I'm not doing complicated shit. Like cleaning.
Which strain is going to become dominant.
Scripted and pre-recorded, yep. Yep, scripted. That's why I brought up the VOD last night and found out that it took me a whopping 3 seconds to completely destroy your entire argument on Chicagoland being in a country, which was the entire foundation of your Net Ghostwriter community infiltration. Sorry, not infiltration. Inclusion? Membership was the right term.
And manufacture effective vaccines.
Vaccines have to be created, so surely they're important to creationists. Inception, yeah.
To stop that spread in its tracks. Or you can think about agriculture. Every single bit of food you can either buy from a grocery store or grow from commercial seeds is shaped by artificial selection. Literally the exact same process of selecting for certain traits that we see out in the wild, except instead of nature selecting for traits that aid in survival and reproduction, it's us selecting for traits that look good, taste good, grow better, or pack in more nutrients. Both of these examples account for the saving.
I'm actually an AI bot program to promote Chicagoland, but your whack-ass comments have thrown off my algorithm. Otto, if there was an AI bot in my chat, it would have been broken by now.
Of millions, if not billions, of lives by preventing the spread of disease and combating malnutrition, and neither of them would be possible without evolution. And if you just extend that out, you can see why evolution does indeed shape these industries that Will is talking about here. It's real and it's important, and so it plays a role in how these industries play out for the exact same reason and in the exact same way that other theories like gravity and plate tectonics do. But as I said earlier, the specific language that Will is using and the messaging behind it are a problem. First of all, this isn't just Darwin's theory of evolution. Darwin was a long time ago.
Only following for 22 hours, fake fans. Well, to be fair, Emily, Auto followed when you said, hey, Ghost is 5 more follows away from his follower goal. So Auto unfollowed and then refollowed based on your words. Shaking my head. This is how new members of the community are treated.
You got some stuff right and you got some stuff wrong. But the study and applications of evolutionary theory since that time have gone far beyond anything that he could have possibly dreamed of. And secondly, the
New follower, but you've been subscribed for 13 months.
implication that evolution is some kind of a dogma that's being forced upon you is absolutely absurd. It's just Will's attempt at drumming up intrigue for his argument by weaving in this subtle conspiracy theory right at the beginning. And it would take anybody who actually understood evolution less than the time it took him to say it to understand why it's silly.
Darwin named his 1859 book On the Origin of Species for a reason. His theory tries to explain where Earth's creatures come from and how they got their unique features. The key word here is origin, because the origin of something tells a story.
Also, how do these people have so much fucking money to build a studio like this? Fuck these people. I hate these grifting assholes that are literally only doing it to get more money. Goes telling us to follow him when he doesn't even follow himself. True. Mormons probably. That's a fair point.
About it. You've probably heard the same concept in today's superhero films. It's called an origin story.
It's Morbin time.
No, but seriously, he then goes for gold in the over-explaining Olympics to really make sure that you understand what he means by the word origin story. It goes on for way, way too long.
An origin story shows how regular people become superheroes. The origin story then explains the hero's actions and motivations. Take Batman, for example. He fights crime because his parents were murdered by a criminal. Captain America similarly transforms from a weak young man into a patriotic super soldier after a World War II era medical experiment. And Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man because he was bitten by a radioactive spider.
I can't have over 30 consecutive seconds of somebody else's content in my video for risk of being copyright claimed, so I have to put a little break in here, but he's not done.
The important point is, if you
Jesus
change
Christ.
the hero's origin story, you change the hero. In the same way, Darwin's theory of evolution in his book On the Origin of Species was meant to provide an origin story for not just every animal on Earth, but also humans, and that matters way more than you might think.
It's about a full minute of this guy explaining the concept of the word origin, just so that we can land on the bombshell that the book On the Origin of Species is about the origin of species. Tune in next week to watch Will Spencer explain the word beginning. Oh, and humans are animals, by the way. We move too much to be plants and we're too big to be bacteria. It's weird how often I have to remind people of that in these videos.
Which is why,
It's
as
true.
I'll show in this video, Darwin's idea doesn't act like a normal theory anymore. What we
This sarcasm is so my brand. Yeah, I'm with it too. But the fact that it's a fucking 56-minute long video is crazy. Who created God though? Checkmate Creationists. That's actually a good point, Otto. And I thought you were also going to say checkmate liberals, but you changed it up.
actually have is closer to Darwin's theology of evolution, and there are 3 big reasons why.
I would genuinely love to hear what Will Spencer thinks
Wait,
a normal
so he's-
theory is and how he thinks they're supposed to behave.
So he's
The theory of
debunking
evolution
Charles
is
Darwin?
backed by the best evidence that we have.
I sent you like a 59-minute one on gender theory too. We just like our long form content. Okay, so here's the problem. When I watch long form content on this channel, it takes me 3 to 4 times longer to watch it because I pause all the time and commentate on it. And then y'all completely make me go on tangents like we did last night for like 30 minutes, having me freak out about the fact that I was texting somebody that said they wanted to be friends with me. Also, she texted back. I've said this earlier, but she texted back today. So screw y'all. But yeah, you just derail the streams all the time. Well, Otto has a good point. Holy crap. Sound the alarm ruins the apocalypse. Otto has some good points sometimes. God evolved from space dust, and he was so disgusted by it that he locked up evolution in hell and painstakingly created everything since by himself. True. Also, if God exists, God is definitely a woman.
Contradicted by none of it.
Actually, God is definitely non-binary.
Constantly being tested and demonstrated through experimentation, and most importantly, makes novel, testable predictions about the world around us. That's why it's science, not faith. Although I gotta tell you, I do find it very funny when creationists try to liken science to theology or faith, as if they don't love those things when it suits them. If we're talking about magic...
That is a fucking hilarious point. That like, them saying, oh, science, you just have faith in it, blah, blah, blah. But like literally their entire ideology is based on believing a book that may or may not be true. God is a dog, bro, is named backwards. True.
Then personal testimony is all the evidence that you need. But if we're talking about the most robust and well-supported theory in the history of biology, then faith is a terrible thing, and nobody should believe it unless you watch a rock give birth to a human.
First, evolution needs believers to accept certain ideas on faith, except these are ideas that new evidence keeps undermining.
Okay, well that's obviously not true. Not only just because of the way that science works in general, but also because evolution has changed over time in light of new evidence. If it were true...
That's how science works. Science evolves and improves on itself. I guess you can make that argument about Islam, since Islam is a reformation on Christianity. And then Christianity is a reformation on Judaism.
Truly dogmatic, then we wouldn't have needed things like the modern synthesis in the 20th century, which merged Mendelian genetics and Darwinian selection in order to make the theory of evolution work better.
No. I'm telling you what's going to happen. I'm not going to finish it in 2 hours. It's not going to happen. If evolution isn't real, how are the chuds getting dumber? That would be de-evolution.
And clear up many of the common problems that it had at that time. It could have just remained a dogma, but it didn't. The only way that Will could say something like that is if he had no real training in or understanding of biology.
Second, anyone questioning evolution faces public outrage. People risk their reputations by speaking up, and not just scientists either.
That's because you're stupid. Stupid people shouldn't be given a platform. Look at me. I shouldn't be given a platform. I am not intelligent.
Even everyday people like you and me feel
That's gonna make a good
to
clip.
ask informed questions.
That's also obviously not true. Questioning evolution is a massive industry. Case in point, Will is literally doing it right now in order to establish his reputation, not risk it. Also, the history of science, especially biology, is punctuated with stories of people tearing down paradigms, debunking big theories and big ideas, and knocking scientists off of their pedestals. Again, the only way that somebody could say...
And also people literally being killed over new discoveries.
Will is saying right now is if they have only ever learned about evolution from creationists.
There's no logical reason for this fear, except for the third reason. Because Darwin
I don't like this
created
dude.
his origin theory to replace another explanation of our origins, the one from the Bible.
No, he absolutely did not. If there was any doubt left in my mind that this dude got all of his evolution education from his preacher, that statement right there just erased it. This idea that Darwin traveled the world, made big discoveries, wrote a book, and established evolutionary theory, all so that he could fight against God or Jesus or Christianity or whatever, is just victim mentality growing into conspiracy theory. And I'm sorry to say, it's not the only example of that kind of not thinking that we're going to see throughout the course of this video.
As you can probably now see, evolution has won this battle at the institutional level. This victory has led to serious problems in our past, are present and possibly
You only believe that evolutionist theory being highly used in our institutions is a problem if you are cheering for cancer. If you are rooting for cancer, that's the only way that you could actually believe that our institutions widely using the evolutionary theory is a bad thing. Well, yes, the Bible is fiction, if I remember correctly, is actually based on things that actually happened. The Egypt plagues were caused by a volcanic eruption. Yeah, no, I said that. I'm like it's anecdotal stories telling like historical events and everything, but literally saying it's the sky god. But also I didn't know that about the Egyptian plagues caused by a volcanic eruption. Also, apparently there was a volcanic eruption that happened. It came across my feed. I'm like, is this real? But I guess there was one that happened. I guess I didn't look it up. Oh yeah. Mount Etna erupts with a massive ash cloud and a lava fountain. Were you on Instagram when you saw it? I think it was Blue Sky. I think it was Blue Sky. Might have been Instagram. Then it wasn't real. Oh, God. Go away, Emily.
our future.
Go away.
It won this battle at the institutional level because it is demonstrably true. And just like many other great strides.
Also, with the volcanic eruption happening, that means that the global temperatures are going to go down for the year, probably. For the next year and a half. So then we're going to get Republicans saying that global warming isn't real. So get excited for that, chat.
In science, it has allowed for the development of a global population that is larger, safer, healthier, and more prosperous than it could possibly be otherwise, despite the fact that it has been misused by some evil people from time to time, which you'd best believe Will is going to bring up.
Hello, I'm Will Spencer, host of the Will Spencer podcast.
Really? That explains why I'm wearing pants in June instead of shorts? No, that doesn't explain that. I think I've explained this before, but volcanic eruptions shoot ash into the air. The ash is then classified as, well, it's not then, but ash is classified as aerosols. When there are more aerosols in the air, in the Earth's atmosphere, more solar radiation is absorbed by the aerosols, which then prevent the UV radiation from getting to the Earth and reflecting back up into the skies and clouds holding it in, the greenhouse effect. So the global temperature actually goes down. Now, we could technically release a shit ton of aerosols into the air, and that would cool the global temperature. However, cancer rates and lung cancer would absolutely skyrocket in human beings. Did you finish the fire video? Yes. Why is autocorrect so bad? I've been wearing a lot of fishnets recently. Fish is pretty funky if you don't cook it in time. True. Yo, hot stuff? What? Huh? What do you... Huh?
I spent 20 years exploring the New Age, visiting over 30 countries before finding my way to Christ. Now I help young men build their Christian.
How did you travel to 30 countries and then found your way back to a religion that suppresses different cultures and everything like that? How does that work? He ran out of travel money? Oh, so he's got a grift? to make money.
Faith.
Hello, I'm Forrest Valkai, host of Reacteria. I spent over a decade studying and teaching science, attending 4 different colleges and universities, all while earning several undergraduate and graduate degrees. Now
Why does he
I
have
help
several?
people all around the world build their understanding and appreciation of reality. In all seriousness, it's great to hear this guy's background.
Forrest is in Borneo right now.
You understand the tone.
Fun fact: Borneo is where the first Survivor series, or the first Survivor season, was filmed. I think.
And the arguments and the general lack of a thought process behind this video. He spent decades traveling the world and exploring spirituality, and his current career is all about teaching Christianity. So now he's going.
What number does several end at? I feel like several is like 5 to 8. Wow, so fun for the whole family. You.
Going to tell you about science. You don't order sushi from a taco restaurant, and you don't learn science from a missionary. And we'll
Ask how is the sushi at the taco restaurants? I feel several should be 3 to 5. I could see that. Because then it'd be numerous if it was over the 5, right? I've never had sushi at a taco restaurant. Okay. Sushi at taco restaurants? Yes, this is the example that the content creator just gave. So I was trying to verify with SCow if sushi at a taco restaurant was good or bad.
Spencer is here to demonstrate why.
Okay, before we get too deep into Darwin's theory of evolution, let's be clear about what it actually claims.
Also, can we talk about how this person has booze behind them? Because they've definitely drank way too much booze. The fact that they thought that this was a good idea, that they actually know what they're talking about.
Darwin said evolution works.
Yeah, don't fight a zombie with a blow dart. But what if the blow dart has an explosive on the end of it?
Called natural selection. In a world of limited resources for food and shelter, species must fight to survive. They struggle to reproduce while competing with other species in a harsh environment. As this happens, animals
What blow dart has an explosive on it? Don't worry about it.
develop small changes in their size, shape, color, and other features.
So far, so okay. Why was this image AI generated? You had all this.
I know his background is perfectly crafted to appeal to your average chud. Yup. That's because if you say anything that's remotely close to chud-like, they will throw their money at you because they love confirmation bias content creation.
Really nice stock footage through that whole thing, and then you excreted this monstrosity right at the very end. But you couldn't find a picture of a frog to use on your. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just this hit me so weird.
Some of these changes give certain animals advantages over others of their kind. These helpful changes then pass down to.
I've never had sushi. I had a pet peeve of raw meat. I don't like even touching raw meat more than what is necessary. Yeah, I didn't like sushi at all until I moved to the Marshall Islands. And then like literally as we were filleting fish when we got back from a fishing trip, they were just straight up eating from it. So I said, "Oh, I'll try it." And it was pretty good. Like yellowfin tuna. Yellowfin tuna raw is delicious. There's cooked sushi. I know it's technically not sushi, but then it's still good in my opinion. Yeah. There are millions of Japanese in Mexico. I had some of the best sushi ever first try.
To future generations. This helps the species survive and develop over time.
You know what? That wasn't half bad. I would change a few things, like I would get rid of the word kind, which doesn't really mean anything. I would also change out the word animals for organisms, because evolution doesn't just apply for animals. And I would change the word species for population, because sometimes a species can be so widespread that different populations, different selection pressures. Evolution is the origin of species, but it doesn't uniformly apply to a species. It can be confusing, I know, but like overall, that wasn't awful.
Finally, after letting this process run for millions of years, we get the diversity of complex species that we see today. This is Darwin's theory for the origin story of all the creatures on
I
Earth.
prefer salmon, but I can fuck with tuna from time to time. Yeah, salmon's delicious. I'm a big fan of salmon. Yellowfin tuna is fucking phenomenal, chat. When I came home from the island the first time, we made yellowfin tuna 3 different ways. We did raw, grilled, and pokey sauce. No, we did raw, grilled, and smoked. But smoking it was kind of a travesty. I kind of wish we didn't do that. But it was so fucking good.
Today's animals come from other, older animals.
Oh my God, I'm
developing
drooling.
over a long, slow, gradual process of often random.
Is that because of the tuna or because of this? Are you drooling because of this? Sorry, I can't help it.
But useful transformations.
And now is where we're starting to get into the nonsense. At face value, that's still okay, but when you hear a creationist use the word random, the writing's kind of on the wall for how the rest of the conversation is going to go. Just so we're all on the same page, mutations are random, but selection is not. Natural selection is the non-random selection of random mutations. Most mutations are silent, meaning they do nothing. Others are beneficial, and still others are deleterious. But at the end of the day, mutations are still just one part of evolution, and you'd better believe you're not going to get a bit of that context or nuance from Will's video.
Remember how I said the theory of evolution is actually more like a theology of evolution?
Unfortunately.
This is because it requires us to take a few things on faith. One of the things that evolution requires us to take on faith is that the transitions between species can be documented.
No, it doesn't.
Think about a hero's origin story again.
Please, no.
We see every step of young Bruce Wayne becoming Batman. We watch him learn martial arts, high technology, costume design, everything. Without seeing these steps, we wouldn't believe his transformation.
The obvious issue here being that if I were to meet Batman, I could then run tests on him to demonstrate that he is actually Bruce Wayne. We could compare characteristics between Batman and Bruce Wayne, like height or eye color. That's kind of like homology. Or we could just track his whereabouts to see.
Hot dudes don't make me drool. What the fuck, please? No.
That he disappears where Bruce Wayne appears and vice versa. That's kind of like the fossil record. Or I could just take a DNA sample and demonstrate that he is genetically identical to Bruce Wayne. That's like genetics or systematics. In any of these circumstances, we could demonstrate that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person, which means we could believe the transformation without having seen it, because that's how evidence and logic work.
Surely for a...
Also, here's the problem. These dumb motherfuckers can say anything they fucking want, right? They can lie, they could swindle, they could cheat, they could do all this shit. But when you disprove them, it takes 10 minutes to disprove 10 seconds. Because the problem is these fucking morons aren't willing to accept the shit that people have learned before. So they're like, oh, if I didn't learn it myself, if I didn't prove it to myself, then it's actually not real. But that's not how humanity fucking works. Humanity works, you learn from those who came before you. If you don't learn from those who came before you, you're stuck doing the same shit over and over again. Oh my God, this is where we're at. This is where we fucking are. What the fuck is wrong? Yeah, isn't that called sea lining? Prove it is true or whatever. Yeah, there's something about that true. I mean, it's kind of like accusing someone of being a pedophile and then you say you need to prove that you're not a pedophile, which there's no fucking possible way you could disprove that. Right? So you accuse somebody of being a pedophile and then you're like, you need to prove you're not a pedophile, but you're just like, what? Yo, that legit happened to me? Yeah. Yeah, people will fucking do that to get it into an I gotcha.
A theory as important as evolution, we should see species change over time too, right? But we don't.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
There are plenty of examples of observed evolution, both in the laboratory and out in the...
Literally, human beings. Human beings. People who tended to live near the equator developed more melanin in their body, therefore having darker skin. Those who lived further away from the equator ended up developing lighter skin so they could absorb more vitamin D. The fuck is wrong with these morons?
field where species are shown to take on new characteristics that they didn't have before based on novel and traceable selection pressures. If you're trying to challenge a discipline that values evidence, denial is not your friend.
If Darwin's theology were correct, we should find countless fossils showing these transitions. The fossil record should back up his idea of a...
Wait, I'm sorry. Isn't he literally showing the fossil records and everything? Or is this added there by Reacteria?
Slow, step-by-step process of development.
Oh, he's adding it in there. Okay.
Said that we should see changes in the fossil record, and then he edited in 3 different...
What? This dumbass edited in fossil records and evolutionary cyclism within his own video trying to disprove evolution? What the oh my God. Oh my God. This can't get any stupider. This can't get any stupider. SCal, why did you introduce me to this shit? Why did you introduce me to this shit? Oh my God.
Which famously show the kind of changes that we see in the fossil record. The evolution of whales is well documented, with fossils that clearly show their transition. Tiktaalik is one of the most famous transitional fossils of all time, and this diagram showing the evolution of limbs for walking on land...
The Jane and John videos are better? What is the Jane and John videos?
The associated fossil species in which we see them, including Tiktaalik, is another great example. This dude literally just debunked himself, but I would bet money that if he was ever confronted with that, he would go full Dwayne Gish and say that none of those species are transitional because they're all fully formed.
For example, in his original book, Darwin claimed that given enough time, bears could transform into whales.
That's not what he claimed. Darwin was talking about another scientist's observation of North American black bears swimming in water with their mouth open to catch insects. And he said that if there were enough insects that they could get all of their nutrients this way, then he could imagine that they might evolve to become more and more aquatic until they were, quote, as monstrous as whales. So he didn't say that bears would evolve into whales over time. He was just speculating to give an example of the kind of evolutionary thinking that he was proposing. And it turns out he wasn't that far off, because while insect-eating bears didn't evolve into whales, we found out a couple hundred years later that fish-eating artiodactyls did.
He was ridiculed for this idea and ultimately retracted it.
He didn't retract anything, he just removed it from later editions of his book because people like you kept mischaracterizing it, and he saw that it wasn't helping his arguments anymore. The same reason why he added references to a creator in later editions of his book as well, because angry zealots wouldn't shut up long enough to listen to what he was actually saying, and clearly still won't to this day.
But it makes the point clear. We should find millions of years of fossils showing bears becoming whales, or perhaps dinosaurs becoming birds.
And indeed we do. Not bears becoming whales, because nobody would expect that, but lots of things becoming lots.
So there's a company called Answers in Genesis, and they do videos for teens. They use characters Jane and John, who are in college, to make videos. Force loves debunking them. Oh, God. Oh, God, that sounds like fucking PragerU shit.
Of other things, we see that in droves. And that's our show, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. It's been a short one, but a great one. What's that? Oh, he's not finished? Oh, there's more.
Remember this famous scene from the movie Jurassic?
Iman and Tamer called in the daytime to show my brother that they are in fact in a refugee camp. They showed Rima. My brother was like, holy shit, you were right. I'm sorry. I told him that the least he could do after this is give them something. Thankfully, Iman and Tamer understand that there are scammers out there, understand his suspicion, but they did ask, are we from Gaza or not? It was horrible. Wait, who asked, are we from Gaza? There's a lot of PragerU vibes for sure. Wait, your brother asked if they were from Gaza? Wait, they asked that? I'm confused. Why would they ask that? Oh, they're saying it to your brother, like, do you believe us that we're from Gaza? After showing him, they asked, so what do you think now? Are we from Gaza or not? Oh, okay, okay.
Park
Oh, and it's movies again. This dude does know that, like, superhero flicks and monster
Yeah,
movies
do you believe
are
us now?
science
Yeah.
documentaries, right?
The scientist Alan Grant explains how the velociraptor was an ancestor.
So, I mean, I would say that, like, if you were able to record that video and post it, I think that would be a good thing, but that would also put a target on their back. Fucking unbelievable Western problems type shit. Yeah. I got screenshots. Yeah.
Of modern birds.
Moon-shaped bones on the wrist. It's no wonder these guys learn how to fly. Well, maybe dinosaurs have more in common with present-day birds than they do with reptiles.
Look at the pubic bone, turned backward, just like a bird. Look at the vertebrae, full of air sacs and hollows, just like a bird.
And even the word raptor means bird of prey.
There's also the fact that Velociraptor ulna bones have evenly spaced bumps, which look strikingly like the quill nodes that we see on modern birds. You know, like they were in some sort of transition or something. There's also several species which show blended avian and reptilian traits, the most famous of which being Archaeopteryx, which has a beak with teeth, and also hollow bones, and also claws, and also a tail, and also feathers. There's also the fact that we can build an entire cladogram showing when different avian characteristics enter the fossil record with their associated fossil species, all of which shows the gradual accumulation of bird-like traits over hundreds of millions of years. That is to say, literally the exact kind of transition in the fossil record that Will just said didn't exist. But no, please, tell me more about the fictional scientist in the horror movie. That's where the real education is.
Grant bases this on something called homology, the idea that similar-looking species must be related.
That's not what homology is. Homology is the study of similar traits between species which are related, not the assumption that similar-looking species must be related. There are plenty of similarities between species which are not related, and as I've covered in other videos, there are plenty of ways to tell those apart from the ones covered under homology. But saying that homology is the assumption that similarities must equate to relationships is like saying that geography is the assumption that the Earth is round because we can draw maps on globes. It's putting the cart before the horse, except the cart's on fire and the horse is drunk.
Now that idea has its own problems that are way beyond this video's scope.
Chief among them being the fact that you just made those problems up because you don't know what homology is.
But if Grant were right, wouldn't we see fossils of velociraptors slowly becoming different kinds of birds?
For Dr. Grant to be right, he would need to be real.
Shouldn't we see lots of other transitions too? We should, but we don't.
We do.
Has anyone ever noticed that these dumb fucks think like all works of fiction are like factual? Like I joke all the time that like, oh yeah, I definitely saw a documentary on that and like talking about a movie. Like they're so baby brained to think of this shit. They're so baby brained that they literally have to go to fictional works and claim that they're fucking and think that they're real. I tell you what's real. The 3-minute ad that I run at the top of every hour to avoid pre-roll ads for any viewers. If you want to avoid the ads, you can pay $5.99 for a subscription or get lucky and get gifted a sub or link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free monthly subscription from Daddy Bezos to your favorite streamer. Hopefully that's me or hopefully it's Ari Boops. But if you don't have a subscription, then you get stuck behind the 3-minute ad break now. What is object permanence? I not look at it, so it doesn't exist. Yeah.
And you literally just showed some on the screen a minute ago.
What the fossil record actually shows is something very different. We find fully formed species appearing suddenly with no gradual evolutionary predecessors.
And predictably, we have the fully formed argument. When you see the fossils of whales getting shorter and shorter hind limbs and longer tails and snouts, and their nasal apertures mysteriously slide further and further back across their skulls, none of those creatures are actually transitional because all of them are fully formed. At the end of the day, what creationists are always looking for is a creature with half of a wing that can't fly properly, or half of a heart that doesn't pump blood, or more famously, a crocoduck of some kind. Because evolution only works on organisms which are fully formed and therefore able to survive and reproduce, That means that evolution doesn't work because there's no weird malformed transitional thing. Rather than correcting their poor understanding of evolution to match reality, they demand that reality conform to their poor understanding of evolution, otherwise they're just not buying it.
An example of this is the Cambrian explosion, which is said to have occurred 535 million years ago. This is when almost all major animal body types first appeared.
And of course, he fails to mention that there were many major animal body types which evolved well before the Cambrian explosion, and some that didn't survive it. And he also fails to mention that there are plenty of major types of life forms that evolved well after the Cambrian explosion, like, for example, all land plants. He also conveniently doesn't mention that some of the transitional forms that he's been denying the existence of are found just before and during the Cambrian explosion. Creatures like lobopods, which are basically worms with legs that are the transition between...
Sorry, chat. I don't have a ton of knowledge of this shit, so that's why I'm just letting him cook here.
worms and arthropods. Nor does he mention the fact that what he actually means by major animal body types is phyla. Remember, we classify life under the taxonomic hierarchy of life, domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Phylum is pretty darn close to the top, and it covers a massive group of very diverse species. For example, reptiles did not evolve during the Cambrian, nor did mammals, or birds, or sharks. It was chordates. The very first animals with a spinal cord evolved during the Cambrian, and then diversified into all those different things over 500 million years. So when Will says every major animal body type, he's banking on you thinking about chordates and assuming that he means all the things that walk on four legs, and all the things with wings, and all the things that slither on the ground, and all the things with fins. But what he's actually saying is one new type of fish. And that deliberately deceptive language is made even more egregious by what he says next.
How long did this explosion last? Just 5 to 10 million years, a mere blink in geological time. In this tiny window, species jumped straight to forms we'd recognize today, skipping all those supposed transitional steps.
Again, we're talking about an extremely primitive animal with the simplest possible spinal cord. That's one example of the major animal body types that Will is talking about here. The Cambrian was a remarkable time of rapid diversification, and we saw several notable traits appear in the fossil record over the course of 10 million years. But Will here is trying to spin that to sound like we went from absolutely nothing all the way up to penguins and jaguars overnight. And the most important part of that Will and other creationists are sure to never mention is that one of those novel characteristics that evolved during the Cambrian was endo and exoskeletons. We just happened to see this sudden burst in the fossil record right around the same time as the evolution of things that reliably fossilize. Could it be a coincidence?
Oh my god. Oh my god. He brought this all the way around. He brought this all the way around in the funniest possible fucking way. That is so good. What are we watching tonight? We are reacting to various videos. This one we're watching Reacteria. Talk about creationism and literally going through line by line on this creationist video and debunking everything and just shitting on them. And it is hilarious.
Coincidence?
This isn't a one-time thing, by the way. Scientists have found at least 14 other similar events. The famous biologist Eugene Koonin called these biological Big Bangs. Now, I want to share some examples, but many have some tricky names. So here's a clip from the Discovery Science Institute where paleontologist Gunter Beckley will explain a few of those in a delightful German accent.
The phenomenon of sudden appearances in the fossil record is not just an exceptional case.
Just so we're all clear, there is no Discovery Science Institute. It's just the Discovery Institute. And we know that's who he's talking about because he puts the URL for their YouTube channel here on the screen while he plays this clip. For those of you who don't know, the Discovery Institute is a group that attempts to paint itself as a legitimate research organization, but who actually has
I thought it was like the Discovery Channel.
two major goals, one of which being to push the pseudoscience of intelligent design and fight against the teaching of evolution, and the second of which is to instill theocracy by permeating every level of our social and political lives with their creationist dogma. And that's not an exaggeration. They literally published a document saying that, and denied doing that, and then justified doing that by saying that materialism leads to genocide. You can learn about all
Dude, that must be a Zionist organization too, because that's literally the same arguments that Israel makes constantly.
all those things in this video right here. All that is to say, Will is now playing you a clip about how evolution can't possibly explain all these crazy events in the fossil record. And the clip is made by people who are paid much more than him to convince you that evolution isn't real and the only other possible explanation is their specific religion. It's like trying to teach people that fast food is healthy by referencing a study by Dr. Ronald McDonald. It's also important to point out that the sudden appearance of things that they talk about in that clip are neither as fantastical nor as compelling as they try to make it seem, but that's a whole other video in and of itself. The main point here is that Will doesn't know any of that, so he just lets the clip play without any criticism or nuance and then says this.
Did you catch that? There are no transitional forms for flowering plants, butterflies, or modern birds. Looks like Alan Grant isn't the only fictional character in Jurassic Park.
I'm not trying to whine or anything, but sometimes it really just hits me that instead of going to college for years and years and working my butt off reading and writing and studying and debating and actually trying to learn something about reality, I could have just traveled the world and explored my feelings and then started a podcast where I could have made a perfectly lucrative career by saying whatever popped into my empty head.
The second reason I call Darwin's theory a theology is that it's taken on one of the worst traits of dogmatic religion. You can't question it.
You are trying to paint Darwin's theory as a theology to substitute your own theology. Are you fucking kidding me? Darwin's theories have evidence based on it. Your theology is based on nothing. Chat, I need to get water. I'm going to play the video while I'm getting water.
Questioning it, and you face public ridicule. Here's what Richard Dawkins wrote in his book, River Out of Eden, A Darwinian View of Life. Quote, "It is absolutely safe to say that if you meet somebody who claims not to believe in evolution, that person is ignorant, stupid, or insane, or wicked, but I'd rather not consider that."
He literally just criticized evolution as being dogmatic, and then in the same breath brought up the opinion of a single famous biologist as if he represented all of biology. He couldn't even suppress his dogmatic thinking long enough to finish one sentence about why dogmatic thinking is bad.
So, if Dr. Dawkins still stands by this quote, he'd call me ignorant, stupid, insane, or even wicked for making this video. Now think about that pressure. Here's a fellow of the Royal Society of London, author of 16 books, the man who invented the term meme. No wonder people fear questioning evolution.
No one avoids denying evolution out of fear of upsetting Richard Dawkins. I have publicly criticized Richard Dawkins many times. We don't deny evolution because evolution is undeniable. The evidence for it is overwhelming, and you can see it happening with your own eyes. It's only people like Will, who don't understand evolution but choose to talk about it anyway, and a handful of scientists, usually at places like the Discovery Institute, who actually stake their claim in denying evolution, almost always to appease a niche market of science-denying religious folks who don't like to think about how much they rely on the study of evolution every single day. Whereas people like me need to constantly fact check ourselves, weigh the evidence for and against our claims, and make sure that we have a well-reasoned argument for what we believe and why, people like Will need only to flatly deny the existence of any evidence that contradicts them and pass the offering plate.
But a growing tide of scientists are beginning to speak up. In fact, more than 1,000 PhD
Chat, I am going to go on a limb here and say most of, if not all of these people are creationists, and or they are dissenting from Darwinism because they believe that there is a better explanation than Darwinism. It's just a guess. It's just a guess. Or a lot of these people don't actually exist.
Scientists, experts in biology, chemistry, and physics have signed a public statement expressing serious doubts about Darwinian evolution. They see what we've seen. The fossil evidence doesn't support evolution's basic claims.
Amassing a big, long list of scientists who all denounce evolution is a creationist tradition as old as evolutionary theory itself. And it's popular because it's effective. Most people don't understand how this stuff works, or how many scientists there actually are in the world.
Facts.
Just how different their opinions are on absolute.
That's why with the COVID vaccine, there's statistics that came out showing that 97% of doctors had taken the COVID vaccine and 1 to 2% more were going to take it. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to believe doctors. Bro, where do you go when you break your arm? Oh, I go to doctors. So you believe doctors and will go to doctors for a broken arm, but you won't believe doctors for a vaccine? That seems weird. Let's say Mercury Stardust. This is good too. She goes by the Handyman. She got a message that says, "What do trans people even do in the bathroom?" And she went around fixing all the broken shit in her bathroom.
Absolutely everything. So they see this big list full of people with big degrees all saying that the establishment is wrong, and they assume that means that science has something to hide. But that big, impressive list becomes a lot less impressive when you compare it to Project Steve. Project Steve was started by the National Center for Science Education in direct response to this particular kind of creationist claim. It is a voluntary list of scientists who all signed their name to the following statement. Evolution is a vital, well-supported, unifying principle of the biological sciences, and the scientific evidence is overwhelmingly in favor of the idea that all living things share a common ancestry. Although there are legitimate debates about the patterns and processes of evolution, there is no serious scientific doubt that evolution occurred or that natural selection is a major mechanism in its occurrence. It is scientifically inappropriate and pedagogically irresponsible for creationist pseudoscience, including but not limited to intelligent design, to be introduced into the science curricula of our nation's public schools. But there's just one caveat. In order to be a signatory on Project Steve, you must be a scientist named Steve. And as of February 2025, Project Steve has over 1,500 signatories. Think of all of the millions of scientists in the world. Will was able to find a list of 1,000 of them that doubt evolution. But there's another list that's 50% longer of scientists who accept evolution and are also named Steve. So next time Creationist tries to tell you about all these scientists.
Oh my God, 1,600 dudes named Steve. I don't always do that, but when I am particularly scared of confrontation, I do. Oh. I mean, I've camped out in a stall before waiting people to finish washing their hands and leave. I did that before. I was using the women's restroom too. I'm sorry to hear that, Emily. I didn't mention it on stream yesterday, but the California Track and Field High School Championships, it seemed like the athletes were openly embracing the trans athlete that was there. And it sounds like the people that were protesting it kind of got drowned out. They're just Minecraft fans. Yeah. So basically what California did is if a trans athlete wins an event, the person that would finish behind them actually is tied with them. So if the trans athlete finished in second place, the person that was in third place would then tie second place with them, and then everybody else moves up. Which is fucking stupid, and it's literally a participation trophy, but whatever. I did track and field. It was basically co-ed except for on the ladder. Well, track and field is co-ed, but they have individual events for the athletes in particular.
They have on their side. Just remember that among the scientific community, there are not only more evolutionists than creationists, there are more Steves than creationists.
And remember the Royal Society, that prestigious group that Dawkins belongs to? They've held meetings of top evolutionary biologists to address growing problems with the theory not fitting the facts.
And immediately, Will gets right back to spreading lies that he heard somebody say and never fact-checked. He already cited the Discovery Institute before, so I'm willing to bet money that he heard that from Dr. Stephen Meyer, who is one of the founders of the Discovery Institute and who has been regurgitating that story on podcasts and PragerU videos alike for years now. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can check out the same video that I recommended earlier, in which Dr. Meyer claims that an eminent scientist from the Royal Society says that evolution just doesn't work. And then I read a response from that very same scientist explaining why Dr. Meyer is wrong and that isn't what he said at all.
Ask yourself, if the science were settled, why are so many accomplished researchers speaking up? If the evidence were clear, why are leading scientists struggling with these obvious problems?
Because we live on a planet of 8 billion people, so it's
Yes, and there's a lot of fucking morons that live on this fucking planet. I ran off to get curry. Keko, I feel like you're eating curry all the time. I did as well. I was so bad at all. Like I did throwing, and they would have boys and girls throwing from the same place, and we all took turns. Well, yeah, but you would be... Yeah, you're throwing from the same place, but you would be placed according to... Well, most of the time, you're placed according to your... I guess gender. Or classification. There were hella girls that could throw more than me. Yeah. It's all about technique. That's why I was saying it was co-ed except for the placings. Oh, okay. My bad. Sorry, Emily. I misunderstood it. Except for on the ladder. Oh, that's what you meant on the ladder. My bad.
Reasonable to expect that you could find 1,000 of any kind of person who says just about anything. Also, one of the notable people you can see in the...
Fun fact, you could find 30% of Americans to fucking support anything. It's a theory, it's a speculation, but I'm pretty sure you could find 30% of Americans to support anything.
That long scroll of scientists is Dr. Michael Behe, and I'm willing to bet that Will Spencer has no idea why that's so funny.
And why would Dawkins and plenty of others need to call people insane, stupid, or wicked just for asking informed questions?
Because you're not asking informed questions. You're asking ignorant questions as if asking those questions means there is no answer. It's the same tactic that John and Jane use in all of their videos. If you were informed about this, you might not say some of the genuinely reprehensible garbage that you're about to say.
This matters deeply because evolution's claims lead to some troubling conclusions. Remember what we learned about origin stories? If you change the origin, you change the hero. So what happens when you change humanity's origin? What if instead of being made in God's image, humans are just advanced animals as Darwin suggested? Well, as it turns out, this leads to some really uncomfortable conclusions.
Let's pause right...
That leads at least uncomfortable conclusions that human beings are in fact animals. God damn it. 30% of Americans support the Ned Ghost Rider broadcast. I don't think that's true. Oh my God, bro, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm so glad I got out of this shit. Dude, I am so glad you got out of this shit too, Gecko.
right here and take a guess at what awful claim Will is about to make. Will it be A, that evolution promotes racism? B, that some evolutionary thinkers were evil, so evolution is too? Or C, that evolution leads to genocide?
All three.
Your guess is
All the
now,
above.
And let's roll the next clip.
If humans descended from animals...
Chat, what do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? A, B, or C? I think it's all of the above. I think it's all of the above. Chat, what's it going to be?
Get your guesses in now, and let's roll the next clip.
If humans descended
Evolution is
from
woke and
animals
gay.
gradually, with transitional forms over millions of years, then wouldn't it stand to reason that some humans are further along that evolutionary path than others? And
Chat. Chat. Secret fourth option Nazi. Chat. He doesn't understand that darker complexion is literally an evolutionary thing. Or that skin tone is literally an evolutionary thing. Look at all those books behind him. Yeah, Keko, we talked about it earlier. How he has booze right here. And that's like, he's got to be drunk. That's the only explanation for all this. And then Otto correctly pointed out that literally the entire background is catered to the average dumbass chud.
maybe some humans alive today are those transitional forms.
If you guessed A, evolution promotes racism, you're unfortunately correct.
Now, modern evolutionists try to distance themselves from these ideas, but not only are they logical conclusions, but many evolutionists once believed them, and these ideas were used to justify discrimination, eugenics, and much more. This movement was called social Darwinism.
Those are absolutely not logical conclusions. The only reason that early biologists believed things like that is because they didn't have the data that we do today.
Still recovering from this video call, dude? Well, I'm trying to make it entertaining for you so that you can recover from it.
So they just went along with their worldview, which was already warped with that kind of racism. Social Darwinism is thoroughly debunked pseudoscience, which requires you
eugenics
to
as
not
well.
understand how humans evolved, or that evolution is not orthogenic, meaning it does not have a goal. Those were both very unfamiliar concepts at the time that people were pushing things like eugenics, which is why that type of thinking evaporated with better science. Trying to vilify evolution because some racist...
Fun fact, chat. In the United States, eugenics was widespread and took hold. Probably 30% of Americans believe in it. And then the Nazis decided to use that shit to justify literally everything that they did.
Biologists didn't understand human ancestry, so they went along with the backward thinking of their time, is like trying to vilify medicine because early doctors didn't understand germ theory, so they used to treat fevers by bleeding people out to balance their humors. Completely brainless talking point that hinges on the argument from...
Another fun fact, that's how George Washington died. George Washington was sick, and they fucking bled him out. And then he basically ended up dying. They bled him out to get the bad blood out.
First consequence fallacy and a general ignorance of the...
Maybe if we take his blood, yes.
As I said at the beginning, I'm not going to baby Will here, but I am going to do him the courtesy of assuming that if he knew the first thing about what he was talking about, he would not have said something so disgusting as agreeing that phrenology and eugenics are logical conclusions of evolution.
The only phrenology that is true is cop phrenology. Cop phrenology. Chat, y'all know what cop phrenology is. Someone that is bald and has a specifically shaped head. They are definitely born to be a cop. ACAB, baby. Honest question, what is the science for disproving the validity of eugenics? too weird about asking this, but I would like to know so I can counter dudes like old guy idiot here with the science disproving the validity of eugenics. So eugenics was basically saying that people of color are inferior and have inferior genes. But in reality, the actual science is that people of color are less prone to getting skin cancer for being out in the sun. So people of color literally are technically the superior genes. But eugenics is also claiming that based on the color of your skin, that will determine your intelligence levels as well. Okay, I misunderstood what eugenics meant. Yeah. And eugenics was basically saying that you need to get rid of the inferior people, such as people that are disabled as well. Cool, thank you very much. Yeah. There used to be statues of busts sold at Marshall's, and TJ Maxx said phrenology. Oh, God.
Theory. That right there is why education is so important.
One key figure was British philosopher.
I'm so for eugenics when it comes to digesting Taco Bell. I am superior. That's not eugenics. Eugenics is literally about getting rid of the quote-unquote inferior people, such as people with disabilities, such as people with autism, such as people of color that are not intelligent enough.
Herbert Spencer. Trust me, no relation.
Are you sure?
Who coined the term...
Yeah, whatever, Taco Bell underline.
Which anyone with a sophomore level of understanding in biology can tell you is a massively misrepresented phrase which almost never means what a creationist thinks it means.
Spencer proposed...
Wait, what was the phrase?
Trust me, no relation.
Are you sure?
Who coined the term survival of the fittest.
Which anyone with a sophomore level of understanding in biology can tell you is a massively misrepresented phrase which almost never means what a creationist thinks it means.
Spencer proposed that we apply Darwinian principles to society with minimal economic and government intervention. Let human evolution follow the same path as animal evolution. The fittest would survive, the weak would die off. Now, if man is made in the image of a mere animal,
That's not how humans survived. Humans survived by working fucking together and helping each other out and lifting each other up. What the fuck is wrong with these dumb fucking motherfuckers? Oh my fucking God. These privileged fucks, if it was up to survival of the fittest, they would be eviscerated so fucking quickly because they've never known a day of hard work ever. Why is it always these dumb motherfuckers who have never done anything in their fucking life, have never done hard work in their fucking life, have never lifted a shovel, have never moved any fucking dirt, have never worked outside a day in their fucking life, are the dudes that are like survival of the fittest? These guys look like they've never lifted a fucking paperweight. What the fuck? Yeah, all the horse girls, Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, and Army people would beat this dude up. Yeah. Yeah, you tell him, Ghost. Meal Team 6, bro. That's right, Meal Team 6.
what's the harm in this? We could let whole nations or people groups die, and it's just nature taking its course.
If you guessed B, some early...
Advocating for genocide! Advocating for genocide! Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Fuck this fucking guy.
Evolutionary thinkers were evil, therefore evolution is too. You're unfortunately correct. Just in case it isn't clear, a nihilistic view of morality in nature is not the same thing.
Why is it always these dumb motherfuckers who have never done anything in their fucking life, have never done hard work in their fucking life, have never lifted a shovel, have never moved any fucking dirt, have never worked outside a day in their fucking life, are the dudes that are like survival of the fittest? These guys look like they've never lifted a fucking paperweight. What the fuck? I cursed a little bit there. Yeah, all the horse girls, Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, and Army people would... All the obese men who collect guns as if they're going to be the leader of some militia during the imaginary takeover. Yeah. A hard work. We at church, y'all. Yeah. There's times where I start going on a rant and I forget what I'm ranting about. And I'll stop in the middle of a word and I'll be like, where am I going with this?
Thing as lacking a social conscience. It's genuinely horrific that Will can make that connection with a straight face without seeing how insane it is.
If you find this horrifying, congratulations, you have a conscience. Something, by the way.
And God knows what else I've missed here in the Ghost Rider broadcast. Also, this fucking dude, I bet this fucking dude supports Israel's genocide on Palestinians. I bet I would be willing to put my life savings on the fact that this dude probably fucking supports Israel.
If you find this horrifying, congratulations, you have a conscience. Something, by the way, that animals don't have.
Other animals absolutely have consciences.
What?
They play a major role in the inclusive fitness of social species. This is the same level of argument as when creationists say that other apes don't have whites in their eyes. There are plenty.
Ooh, I did bruise my face this morning. What the fuck? What kind of message is that, Ari?
Of scientific examples of animals protecting one another, helping one another.
Oh, Mono, you missed me. You missed me giving a lecture on how most workers are probably actually being exploited and aren't getting paid the value that they create for a company. That was a really good one. That was last week. I was an Eagle Scout pre-transition, and no, my Eagle project wasn't some stupid bench. I organized a citywide food drive. Fuck yeah, Emily, that's awesome.
Developing friendships, experiencing grief, sacrificing rewards, sacrificing themselves. And even if none of that was true, humans are animals, and denying that is insane. The next 3 minutes or so of Will's video is just more of the same. He just gives a couple more examples of other famous biologists with racist ideas and how those ideas led to atrocities. And then he says this.
And let me tell you about a third key figure, Ernst Haeckel. He was a German biologist who gave us the term ecology. But here's what many don't know. Ernst Haeckel believed the German people were the most superior race on Earth. Haeckel, Germany's most influential social Darwinist, believed in an autocratic German state and the superiority of German culture. Later, a certain
Why did so many people think that German culture was far superior to any other culture? So what, Germans make good beer? That makes them superior? What? So I basically tripped upstairs and got a whole bruised leg, a bloody nose, and now I guess bruises on my face. It was not fun. Nothing broken, but thank God everything hurts. Oh, I'm sorry, Ari. Sorry to hear that. Because they suck at being right. Yeah. Like, historically speaking, when have they been on the correct side of history? I guess when they toppled the Roman Empire. But those weren't Germans. That's a fun story about, like, the Nazi regime, is that Himmler kept searching for artifacts to prove that the German people had, like, historically been far superior and everything like that, but Himmler kept finding fucking dirt huts and shit. And and Hitler was, like, yelling at him, like, hey, stop finding our people. We're just in dirt huts and everything like that. Why do you keep doing this? We need to start stealing shit and say that it's German. Those are barbarians, pants wearing barbarians. Could have something to do with the type of ideology they believe in, the one that went into hiding after 1945. But, like, the dude died in 1919, right? Wait, where was it? Where was it? Wait. I thought it said 1919. Or is that when the paper was made?
Other famous biologists with racist ideas. And
oh, here it was. Oh, fuck.
He just gives a couple more examples of other famous biologists with racist.
Scientist Ernest Heinrich Philipp August Haeckel from 1834 to 1919. Okay, so he died in 1919. So, like, the ideas were before the Nazis. Like, what did German culture have that was quote-unquote superior to other cultures? Like, again, all the Germans did to make themselves superior to anybody was taking down the Roman Empire.
ideas and how those ideas led to atrocities. And then he says this.
And let me tell you about a third key figure, Ernst Haeckel. He was a German
Pants,
biologist
apparently.
who gave us the term ecology. But here's what many don't know. Ernst Haeckel believed the German people were the most superior
Pretzel and
race
Snickle? Beer?
on Earth. Haeckel, Germany's most influential social Darwinist, believed in an autocratic German state and the superiority of German culture. Later, a certain mustachioed German leader took Haeckel's ideas into his book Mein Kampf. He wrote about the struggle for existence. Survival of the fittest, racial hierarchies, and superior races dominating inferior ones, including through military force. This thinking then helped justify the German invasion of, quote, inferior Slavic Poland on September 1st, 1939, starting World War II.
If you guess C, evolution leads to genocide, you are unfortunately correct. The obvious rebuttal here is that evolution teaches a strong and valuable anti-racism and anti-eugenic.
I have a hat on. Aurora. There's like a marker you're gonna stamp yourself.
Your iced Americano is ready. It tastes better if you stir before drinking. It was my pleasure to serve you.
Jesus Christ, Emily. Oh my God, Emily. That is the most extra Emily clip I've ever seen in my life.
Understanding things like the shared ancestry of humans.
Fun fact, alcohol-free beer keeps gaining in popularity, or what I call it, shitty tasting root beer. As a sober girly, I often grab a bottle of root beer at a bar if they have it. Root beer is pretty awesome. Birch beer is also excellent, because birch beer comes out of a keg.
The importance of genetic diversity and the origins of different ethnicities provides you with a clear, solid scientific foundation to...
Also, isn't the point of survival of the fittest about survival of the species as a whole? Theoretically speaking, it should. Theoretically speaking, it should, but the racist and genocidal assholes will paint it as we need to have the superior genes and everything to survive. Birch beer superiority, yep.
Reject racism, whether your motivations be purely selfish, purely ideological, or anywhere in between. But beyond that, if Will really wants to play this game of guilt by association, he's going to be very upset when he learns about just how many slave owners used the Bible to justify slavery. How many Nazi soldiers had "God is on our side" printed on their belt buckles.
Yep.
And how the American...
Yep. The fucking Nazis had Christian ideology baked into their fucking ideology as well.
Eugenics movement regularly called their mission God's plan. And that's not mentioning the countless other atrocities around the world and throughout history committed in the name of Christianity. The KKK is a Christian organization.
Yep.
The Lord's Resistance Army is a Christian organization. The Declaration of Secession that made Texas part of the Confederacy specifically states that the enslavement of Africans is the will of the Christian God and that it is recognized by all Christian nations.
Chat, I know somebody that read that letter. And not only did they read that letter, they read all of the letters of the states of secession, and then they made a video about it. The video wasn't necessarily about it. It was just kind of about Abraham Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln's policies. But this person talked about it. Maybe you should go check that out. Maybe you should go check that out. Check it. Go watch it. Click on it. Watch it. Give it a thumbs up. Go comment on it. I often go to the same hipster bar cafe in my town. I don't think they have that there, but next time I go somewhere else, I will see if they have birch beer. Yeah. When I was a kid, my family helped run a rod and gun club, so we would have several events, and they would have birch beer on tap. It was amazing. Birch beer, alcohol free? Yeah, birch beer is it's soda. KKK, the Civil War was about states' rights. Person's states' right to do what? Ari, have you seen this? Ari, this is one of my favorite videos that I've ever shown on stream. Have you seen this?
Few things in history are black and white. A lot of it is gray, and that includes the Civil War. It was actually fighting for states' rights.
States' rights to do what?
Excuse me, sir?
States' rights to do what? What did you want to use those rights for? You usually don't mention that part. I want to hear it. I wonder what you want to do with them.
Well, the Confederacy didn't want to be oppressed by the North.
Really? What were they preventing you from doing? What did they not want you to do?
Listen, my friend, there was more to it than slavery for why we made the Confederacy.
It's really, really interesting because the guy who made the Confederacy, the vice president, said that it was because they wanted to have slavery, and all the state constitutions said they wanted to have slavery, and they seceded the moment that the president got elected that was going to abolish slavery. Boy, the Confederacy sure looks slavery adjacent, at least. Now, anyways, states' rights do what?
You're ignoring our other concern.
Yeah, but among the concerns was slavery, so I don't care because you deserve it because you're evil. And slavery is evil. You should know this. By the way, could you answer my question, you fucking traitor? States' rights to do what?
Well, it's our heritage.
It lasted 5 years. The Annoying Orange has existed longer than the Confederacy did. The fucking Annoying Orange, dude. You're gonna celebrate a nation so fucking weak the Annoying Orange outlived it?
Well, states' rights.
Got Douglas.
Each pussy boy must understand that he must find his Uncle Sam away. We'll all go down to Dixie.
Oh my god, chat. Oh my god, I fucking love this video so much. Chat, go watch this video. Give this video a thumbs up. Give this a watch. Share that. It is literally one of my favorite YouTube videos I've ever seen. This reminds me of like the original like YouTube content. Where it's just stupid shit. But that video is so fucking good. Oh yeah, back in the day. Yeah. Before YouTube became the conspiracy theorist bullshit. Confederados. Confederados is a Brazilian name for Confederate expatriates, all white Southerners who fled the southern United States during Reconstruction and their Brazilian descendants. They were enticed to Brazil by offers of cheap land for Emperor Dom Pedro, who had hoped to gain expertise in cotton farming. The regime in Brazil had a number of features that attracted the Confederados, namely the continued legality of slavery, but also political decentralization and relatively high commitment to free trade. Is estimated 20,000 American Confederate. Dude, why do all the psychopathic racists and shit fucking flee to South America? That's where all the Nazis went to. Chat, I don't know if I ever told you this story, but we went to not Brazil. We went to Ireland the September after I graduated from Penn State. We went to Ireland for the Penn State football game. And of course, me being as smooth as possible, I was talking to women at the bar. Well, one of this woman was a beautiful blonde, just gorgeous. So I went up to her and I just started having a conversation with her. I found out she was in Ireland working, and she was from Brazil. I'm like, oh, well, do you know any other languages? She's like, yeah, I know English, German, Portuguese, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, so is Portuguese your primary language? And she goes, no, it's probably German. And I had a realization that the reason it was German is because she likely, potentially had Nazi grandparents. So then my brain at the time went, oh my God, I'm talking to a Nazi. And I walked away and I told all my friends, I'm like, I think I met a Nazi, potentially. Obviously, I don't know if she was actually a Nazi. And I don't know that if her grandparents were Nazis. But at the time, that went through my head. Oh. Badger, badger, badger. I also love hearing the take that it wasn't about slavery because it was naturally becoming unsustainable. Well, yeah. Like, slavery is always unsustainable. That's why the U.S. prison system is going to eventually collapse on itself at some point. But also slavery is bad. Yeah, it wasn't about slavery because it was going to become unsustainable. So we were going to do states' rights to make sure that it was sustainable. We also paid to repatriate them to the U.S. The U.S. taxpayers paid their way back to the U.S. Oh, thank God. That's good news about the U.S. prison system. I mean, that's not good news. The U.S. prison system is literally a slave trade. It's not a slave trade. Like, it's literally slavery. At some point, you're going to have so many quote-unquote slaves that they're going to turn on their masters. Because that's what happens. Well, yeah, but it's going to shut down eventually. Not anytime soon. Ari, have you been paying attention to what's going on right now? You're aware that, like, we're throwing more Americans and American residents into prison than ever before, right? What the fuck? Why is this so low?
By the way, yeah. Any immigrants here, by the way? Yeah. Where are you from? Argentina. Nice. In Mexico, right there. Do you like Argentina? Do you like your parents? They're cool. They're cool. And are you like actually Argentina? Or are you like is your name Werner von? That's my favorite shit. When I see somebody who's like, yeah, we're Brazilian, they're blonde, and I'm like, okay. What's your name? You don't have to tell me your name, I guess. But I guess like what I'm asking is your family Nazis? Huh? No. Okay. Cool. Chill.
I love Stabby. Oh, yeah, it is fucking stupid. I hate it. Yeah. It's fucking long, but in case you want to learn about history more.
Now, of course, Will can just say that those beliefs.
Oh, shit.
But
I hit the arrow.
All Christian nations. Now, of course, Will can just say that those other Christians weren't practicing his faith properly, or that modern Christians distance themselves from those beliefs. But that's absolutely no different than what he just dismissively accused biologists of doing. So I'm not sure that this particular logical fallacy is really a good fit for him. The point is, trying to blame Darwin for racism is like trying to blame Einstein for the use of nuclear bombs or Newton for people throwing apples at each other. Someone misusing science is not an argument against science.
And this theology wasn't an accident either. It was designed to replace the dominant human origin story, Christianity. Now, you might doubt this. Maybe you think evolution.
Chat. Can someone please explain the logic of having a religion as the definitive origin story of human beings, where there is no discernible proof that the origin of humans is from the beliefs of said religion?
If you're not Andrew Cuomo, keep scrolling. Andrew, I know you're bad with deadlines and moving to a new city is stressful, but there's an important election coming up and we're trying to fix the crisis you created. If you want to vote, you only have a week left to change your registration from Westchester to New York City. I know. You're shy. I assume that's why you've been hiding all campaign, but it's important to make your voice heard. I know what you're thinking. If you're not a disgraced former governor and you're still watching, does it apply to you? If you're a registered Democrat, absolutely. If you're already registered to vote here in New York but need to change your address, you gotta do it by June 9th. If you lived in Astoria but now you live in Bay Ridge, changing your registration means getting to vote at the poll site closest to you. And if you just got here, or you've lived here for decades but still vote in California or New Jersey, you got until June 14th.
Jersey.
But don't wait. Head to ZahranForNYC.com/vote, because we've got an affordable city to win. Stop voting in New Jersey.
Stop voting in New Jersey. Because God told me directly, he came down and said, your grandma's not an animal. And I believe him. Yeah, the fucking sky god that was hallucinated by people that were on shrooms.
Theological impact was unintended. No one meant to replace Christianity. It just happened naturally. The fittest explanation survived, right? Well, let me change your mind.
It's about this point near the end of the video that Will fully steps into his role as an absolute caricature of what he is. And what he is a middle-aged white Christian man with a podcast, unabashedly spouting opinions that are as strong as they are uninformed about how his worldview is so strong and powerful that it's dominated the whole world, but is also so weak and fragile that it needs to be protected against the encroaching tides of critical thinking.
Chat, have you heard that argument before? Have we heard that before? I can't point to it. Could someone in the chat please point to where these contradicting arguments have happened? Please. Oh, well, someone asked Forrest how he would feel if they said his grandma was an ape, and he was like, she is. Cuomo still isn't registered in New York City, and that shit is just sad. Also, why did he make that campaign? Because now Cuomo's campaign is going to see that, and he's going to register in New York City then. It'd be way funnier if he didn't register in time. Hashtag Israel, yep. White with a podcast already stopped listening? Well, to be fair, Nomar, I am white and I have a stream. Except, I'm Irish. I'm Irish and Italian. Therefore, I'm a person of color. And on top of that, I'm an honorary brown. Nah, you Irish, exactly. And an honorary woman. Yes, I'm an honorary woman as well. Oh, chat. Could you imagine if I got popular enough? If I got popular enough where we had people unironically saying that Irish people are people of color? Stop giving this white man honorifics. Hey, they keep giving it to me. Funny isn't going to turn people out to vote against Cuomo. It is already a statement enough that he hasn't done it yet. No, I know that. I understand that part. But I'm saying the fact that they're bringing up that Cuomo literally hasn't registered. Because, like, I feel like him not being able to vote in the own primary for himself would be hilarious. And show that he's an incompetent buffoon that can't run the city of New York. So if he didn't register in time, right? So the vote is June 26th, I think. The vote is June 26th. So for that 15 days, you just pummel him like you're so incompetent that you didn't even register to vote in your own primary. I'll give you the Mexican card. I'll give you a Mexican card if you want. No, I want to earn it. I want to earn the Mexican card too. Ghost can say way. Way. Oh, I'm not the one to decide who earned it. I see how it is. They're so close that is down the turnout. Oh, I know that. Way. Can't earn it with your white boy tacos. Motherfucker, I have a person of Mexican ancestry literally saying my tacos are fine. So getting more people to register is what they need? No. Yeah, no, I understand that, Emily. But I'm saying you can do that. Well, I guess that's the hook. To get people in. Yes, I'm an honorary woman as well. You know, I may be an honorary brown person. I may also be an honorary woman, but I can tell you what, I'm not an honorary subscriber to the Ned Ghost Rider broadcast. Well, I guess technically I am an honorary subscriber because I'm subscribed to my own channel. So I do avoid the top of the hour ad break. That avoids pre-roll ads for any new viewers. If you want to avoid the ads, you can pay $5.99 for a subscription or get lucky and get gifted a sub, or you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free monthly subscription from Daddy Bezos to your favorite streamer. Hopefully that's me. If it's not me, hopefully it's Ari Boobs. But anyway, here comes the 3-minute ad break now. But you are a follower of your own channel? Correct. I'm not a follower of my own channel, but I am a tier 3 subscriber. I'm a tier 3 subscriber. Make real tacos once and I'll let you have the white boy tacos. I don't know who decides, but I think how often I eat Taco Bell makes me not eligible. Well, Keko eats Taco Bell literally every fucking day, and he's Mexican. ¿Dónde está el queso apestoso? That only applies to Ghost. True facts. All right, S-Cow. How about I do a cooking stream with my white boy tacos, and then the next week I do a cooking stream with your real tacos. Is that the right porqué, Ari? And La Tienda.
Happy Pride, friend.
It's porqué. Yep. I didn't buy any. Wait, what? You didn't buy any tacos?
Friends, you can't say that. Why not? Aren't you supposed to hate gay people? I don't think Christians are supposed to hate anybody. I love LGBTQ plus folks. That's why I'm an affirming pastor. What do you mean when you say affirming? I don't think being LGBTQ plus is sinful in any way. But doesn't the Bible say in Leviticus 18:22
Stinky cheese ghost? No, he didn't buy any stinky cheese.
that a man lying with a man is an abomination? It also says that those who follow God aren't supposed to eat pork or charge interest on loans, and that rebellious sons should be stoned to death. Okay, I get it. When you win in battle against a town, you should kill all the males and take the females as slaves, that we should have little fences on the edges of our roof, that we should forgive debt every 7 years. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't know this part was in the Bible, that you forgive debt every 7 years. This is a new one. I would like that information.
Followed Levitical law. What about Romans 1:27? Males committed shameless acts with males and received in their own persons the due penalty for their error. What about Romans 2:1? Therefore, you have no excuse, whoever you are, when you judge others. For in passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself, because you, the judge,
roasted.
are doing the very same things. What about 1 Corinthians 6:9? What language does your translation use? The King James Version says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. Wait, I thought this was a clear verse about gay people. Some translations refer effeminate as sodomites, but that's just a guess. The Greek is ambiguous. It refers to somebody that is soft or passionate. The Bible does not seem to say what I was told it said. Let me ask you a question. Do we follow the rest of St. Paul's sexual ethic? What do you mean? St. Paul said that celibacy is better than being married, and that even married people should practice celibacy. If we don't follow this teaching, why bring up Romans 1:26 or 1 Corinthians?
Dude, it is hilarious how contradicting the Bible is. Damn, it's crazy how people used to speak English like Yoda. Tengo el puerco en mis pantalones.
And 6:9 as authoritative. I guess I've always been taught that the Bible is against LGBTQ plus people. If that was so important, why didn't Jesus say anything about it? He talks about in marriage how men and women become one flesh. That's descriptive, not proscriptive. Jesus never really addressed the issue directly, only obliquely in Matthew.
That's it, chat. Jesus was gay. It is very contradictory. Jesus was gay, chat. You heard it here first on the Net Ghost Rider broadcast.
19, where he encourages his disciples to accept eunuchs. What's a eunuch? Somebody who is born biologically male but had their testicles removed. Were they treated differently because of that?
Jesus was gay and trans. Technically, Jesus is non-binary, right? Because Jesus is technically God, which I didn't realize though. I thought Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit were three separate things. But according to my uncle, who was raised in the same church as me, they're the same thing. I was taught this like 2 years ago. Surprised they didn't get bullied out of using it before it gets too big. El puerco is a euphemism for penis in Mexico. Verga! I was taught that was a curse word in Panama. pretty much all of all the curse words from Panama were penises. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, if you exclaim like fuck in like a good thing, like let's fucking go or something like that, is it like vaginas then? And he goes, yeah, it actually kind of is. I'm like, God damn it. It was funny. Guys, NBS, they are, but also not. That's right, Ghosty. They're all the same 3 and 1. Trini's 1 and 3. I said that backwards. Verga means penis, but you can use it as an expression of disbelief. Let's vagina go. No, it was something like, I think an exclamatory phrase was something about like your mother's vagina or something like that. Keko, there's a lot of clips. Verga. Was taught that was
and face discrimination. But Jesus told his disciples to welcome them? Yes, we see that practice in Acts 8, where St. Philip baptized a eunuch without any caveats. So Jesus and the early church welcomed people who were considered outsiders because of their sexual identity? Yes, that's why I want to say.
From Panama, that sounds more Argentinian, but sure. They said it a lot. I can't remember what the phrase was, but Escal, I'm sure you can bring it up. Also, I love that Escal was a translator. So Escal knows like literally all the not the dialects, all the little intricacies of Spanish. So he can come in here. La Cucha de Tumadre. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it was. It was more informal than that, but that's what they were saying. No, maybe that was a curse. Maybe it wasn't celebratory. I don't remember. It was a while ago. Keko, you could just do watch again. Little translation, the shell of your mother. Oh. Verga! Was taught that was... You couldn't cut out that part, Keko?
Watch now as he shows his entire hand and reveals that the sum total of all of his misunderstandings about science is one massive conspiracy theory.
It wouldn't let me. Oh, it wouldn't let you cut it down low enough? Short enough? Watch again. Nomar, as a VIP, you can literally use watch, just so you know.
Ernst Haeckel wrote to Charles Darwin on Darwin's 70th birthday. He congratulated Darwin for having, quote, shown man his place in nature and therefore overthrowing the anthropocentric fable, end quote. What is the anthropocentric fable, you might ask? It's the idea that man is made in God's image with the command to be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it.
If there were any of you left that weren't fully convinced that Will plagiarized this entire script directly from the Discovery Institute, that part right there should have done it for you. Not only is their content loaded with that kind of messaging, but here's an article directly from their website from 2005 titled Murderous Science from Darwin to Hitler, Evolutionary Ethics, Eugenics, and Racism in Germany.
I was going to say, isn't Keko a videographer, but makes sense. The 5 seconds gets everyone. Doesn't get me. I don't make it that far. I mean, I guess technically I don't make it that far because I never get there. I'm going to bed. I thought that was... You couldn't cut out that part, Keko? What? Oh, fuck you guys. You guys pissed off Becca. No. You pissed off Becca. Now she's making my ass stand up as punishment. Also, Becca, I'm wearing my slutty shorts again. Show you my slutty shorts? Nomar! Thank you for giving Becca a sub. Oh, shit. I just lost the speaker. Give me a second. Ah, speaker down! Damn it, Becca, look at what you've done. Look at what you've done. The whole stream has gone to shit because you made me stand up. I'm not sure how I pissed off Becca saying I can't last 5 seconds, but I guess I'll take responsibility. Sorry they did this to you. How is that my fault? It is. Also, I need to show... I gotta bring it back down because I gotta show Becca my slutty shorts. Oh, fuck. Can't believe you've done this. How long until you notice it, chat? What do I notice? A while. He's fucking at the desk. What happened? What am I noticing? Oh, fuck, you can't see. Slutty shorts. See? They're gray shorts. God damn it.
All I learned with spicy eyeballs is that crying for 4 hours straight is honestly not that bad. The burning was, though. That's what she said after having sex with me. God damn it. I didn't want to finish that sentence. That must have been the cathartic.
God damn, chat.
I hope you guys don't clip that.
God damn, chat. Fucking A. It's just like when somebody does marbles on stream. Chat, it's time for marbles on stream here on the Net Ghost Rider broadcast. Time for marbles on stream here on the Net Ghost Rider broadcast. For those that have not participated in marbles on stream, we do three races. Three races, we do 4 bets. 3 races, 4 bets. If you pay attention, fourth bet's really fucking easy. Ticklish people, no. Why does it keep doing this? Just, I'm searching for ticklish in the search bar. I'm not searching for ticklish people. I'm searching for ticklish. Ticklish. Just ticklish, not ticklish people, not ticklish people feet, just ticklish. God fucking damn it, YouTube. What the fuck? Oh. I need to go to bed, chat. I'll stay for marbles, and I really do need to get to bed. You really need to go to bed. He's showing off his slutty shorts. Give him a minute. Yeah. And Becca and Emily also wanted to see my butt last night, too. In my baseball pants, which I showed them. I gave them what they wanted. Yeah, I have to sleep more than 5 hours. Do you? Do you? I get by with less than 5 hours all the time. He's an Irish woman, so it is still lesbian. Yeah, technically, if I like women, I'm lesbian, right? Boom. Chat, for those that want to support the Net Ghost Rider broadcast, if you have marbles on stream, you can go into the shop and buy cool things for yourself. But when you do that, you should also do support a creator code. And I have a support a creator code as well. All right, 3 races. Boom. Fortunately, yes, I can't handle more migraine days. I might take things into my own hands. Oh. Oh, getting more sleep. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join the race. Exclamation point play. Chat. Exclamation point play. Emily, we can't make bets because of your bet. I'm just going to delete it. So you're going to get your money back. All right, chat. All right, chat. We're going to do, does everybody finish? Does everyone finish? Yes or no? Also, while we're waiting for the bets to come in, I'm going to pee real quick. I'll be right back. All right, bets are in. Good night, Escal. Have a good night's rest. And I hate you for introducing me to Reacteria. I can't say it right. Bacteria, Reacteria. Did I do it right? Did I say it right? I spent all my points on making Ghost stand. I got nothing to wager. Good. Anyway, last chance to get into the race. Exclamation point play. That just means you need to watch more than that Ghost Rider broadcast, Becca. Nobody bet anything. This is the second straight night that nobody bet anything. What's the point of doing marbles on stream if we're not going to bet, chat? Anyway, we're starting. We're lazy. But y'all could get the heat is on. Oh. 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 Backosaurus in the lead. Or Boops is in last. Are they going up or down? Oh my god, Ari Boops is in the lead out of nowhere. Ari Boops into the pinwheel. Ari Boops gets right through. Ari Boops gets through the rotating gates. Ghost Rider and Emily hung up. Ari Boops getting through the pegging field. Ari Boops hitting the cylinders. I'm distracted, okay. Sorry, no more. Anyway, Ari Boops into the gates. Spinning through the rotating gates. Ari Boops getting held up. But expanding their lead. Ari Boops through the rotating peggings. Ari Boops through the hole. Ari Boops shot out of the hole into the tube. Ned Ghost Rider in second place trying to catch up. But it is Ari Boops with your victory. Congratulations, Ari Boops. All right, now we got to see if everybody's going to finish. You guys see if everybody's going to finish. And that's it. I believe everybody finished. Emily did not finish. Emily got a D and F. So, those that bet NAR won. Which nobody bet anything. Nobody bet anything. All right, on to the next bet. I think everybody's subbed. So I can't do that. What I can do is... Okay. All right, chat. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to get your bets in. I'm only giving you 30 seconds to get your bets in. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join the race. Exclamation point play if you would like to join the race. Does the winner's Twitch name start with a vowel? Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. Does the winner's name start with a vowel? Get your bets in first and then do exclamation point play. Because you have 10 seconds to get your bets in. 10 seconds to get your bets in. Hi, Plank. Welcome in. Oh! People slipped in some bets there at the end. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join the race. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join the race. Going once. Exclamation point play. Exclamation point play going twice. Oh, hi, Otto. Long time no see. Last call. Exclamation point play. And we're off. Plank, did you enjoy our first interaction with Otto? Did you finish watching that last night? I know you said you had it up in the other tab. Emily takes the lead. Ari Boop's taken to the inside. Emily's going outside. Emily's going outside trying to pick up some speed. Not the first time watching balls in bed for me. Otto. Oh my God. I hope Ms. Otto's there while you're watching balls in bed and hearing me. Emily maintains the lead, but Ari Boops bypasses Emily. Otto coming on strong. And also in bed, coming on strong. Oh my God. Ari Boops going the wrong way. Otto had the lead, but Plank bypasses Otto. Otto's taking the inside track, but Otto's hitting all the moguls. Probably losing some steam. Plank takes the turn first. Plank and Otto kiss a little. And then they go straight into the wall. And then they come down. Emily's trying to take the inside track, but Emily hits the speed bump. Dumb Plank maintains the lead. Dumb Plank about to lose the lead to Otto. They're neck and neck, folks. Dumb Plank bypasses Otto for the lead. Otto in second place. Becca's going to cut on the inside. Is Becca going to be your victory? No, it's Dumb Plank and then Becca and Otto, Emily. Nomar, Ari Boops, and Ned Ghost Rider. Wait, Otto is married? No, that's why it's Ms. Otto. It's Ms. Otto. Ms. Otto. Because we don't know what else to call her. It's Ms. Otto. We don't know what to call her. Ms. Otto. That's why Otto leaves us every Friday. Wait, Otto has a girlfriend? Yes. Otto met his girlfriend through his Chicagoland activism. The bestest girlfriend. Otto, do you want to screenshot that and then send that to her? Actually, she might break up with you if she finds out you're in the Ned Ghost Rider broadcast. Anyway, Dumb Plank getting 17 points. Becca Sword getting 16 points. Otto getting 14 points. Emily getting 0. Nomar 0. Ari and Ghost getting 0. Plank is your winner, which the D is not a vowel. So the Nars win. The Nars win. Who would date that menace? Someone that loves that menace. Also, they both have houses too, which is the thing that pisses me off. Chicagoland, like the country. Nomar, don't fucking no, Nomar. Nomar, don't entertain Otto. Oh God, Nomar and Otto just became best friends. I don't like that. Anyway, chat, time for the most difficult bet. Who wins the race? Who will win the race? Oh my God, it's like basically the same people. Straight people have weird standards. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. 1 minute. 1 minute to get your bets in. 1 minute. I guess I won't do the 30 seconds. 1 minute to get your bets in. Exclamation point play. Exclamation point play. If you would like to join. Hey, I didn't join Marbles in Veg to get clapped on. I'm not clapping on you. I'm giving you props, Otto. I'm giving you props. I'm clapping on him. You don't know Otto very well then, Ari. I would love for Otto to end up in Ari Boop's stream because I think it would be hilarious. 10 seconds to make your bets. 10 seconds to make your bets. 10 seconds to make your bets. I just know he's a menace. I guess technically you should just block Otto from your stream then if he's a menace. All right, that's it. That's all the bets. Last chance to get in the race. Exclamation point play going once. Exclamation point play going twice. Waiting for the 10-second delay. Nah, he doesn't annoy me enough. It is so funny, that first interaction. Cal and I were literally messaging each other on Discord being like, hey, we've looked up this name and this name has not posted good shit on the internet. So we're just gonna let it go. And then Otto just kept coming back. Anyway, that's it. Starting the race. Who's gonna be your winner here, chat? Who's it gonna be? Who will it be? Otto is in the pole position. Nomar's in second. Oh, there's a random marble in here. I'm like a bed bug. What, you won't go away? And you pop up in the worst possible times? In fact, I don't think Otto annoys me at all. Oh, no. No, Ari, don't do that. Nomar is in the lead. Otto's in second behind the random marble. And then Ned Ghost Rider. Ned Ghost Rider is going to vanquish Otto right here. I can see it coming. Becca Soar in fourth place. Dumplank, Ari, and Emily bringing up the rear. Nomar decides to go right. Oh, the random marble goes left. Otto splits the uprights and goes left. Ghost goes left as well. Becca also goes left. Nomar maintains the lead. Oh my God, Plank out of nowhere. Plank out of nowhere. Plank is your winner. Plank, Nomar, Otto, Ned Ghost Rider. Becca gonna be in fifth place. Oh man, all the ladies in last. Oh, Otto in third place. All the ladies in last place. Ladies finish first always. Ladies always finish first in this stream. Ladies always finish first. That's the motto in this stream. It's just really hard to annoy me. Hopefully they finish multiple times. But that's the motto in this stream. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's really hard to annoy you. You literally said most highly opinionated people you hate, except for me. So much for that motto. Well, ladies, pick up your fucking games. What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? I can't rig it every time for you. You need that, like, win once in a while. Does that mean you bite people's legs? Charisma 99 has its benefits. Nah, you ain't got charisma. I just have really fucking long ass views. Anyway, chat. Dumplank is your victor. Which nobody chose Plank. What the fuck? Why did nobody choose Plank? Okay, good night. I'm tired. You're not going to make the bets. You're not going to see who won the Grand Prix, Becca. But very extremely specific people. Anyway, your final results. Plank getting 12 points. Nomar getting 10 points. Otto getting 8 points. Ghost, Becca, Ari, and Emily getting 0. Chat, who will win the Grand Prix? I'm going to make it a 30-second bet because y'all should know this. Y'all should know this. This should be very easy for you. You should have paid attention. This should have been very, very easy for you. Anyway, hi. Okay, good night. I'm Todd. Good night, Becca. I hope you have a good night's rest. Hi, Hollykins. How are you? You just missed marbles. You just missed marbles. Also, I thought I was going to have an early tonight, but apparently that's not happening. Get off work soon. Just want to say hi. Hi. Anyway, the bets are in. We're going to find out who won the Grand Prix. In third place, Becca Soar. In second place, Otto Fellatio. No longer an expert, just Otto Fellatio. And your winner, Dumb Plank. Congratulations, Plank. Plank with 29 points, Otto with 22 points, Becca with 16 points, Nomar with 10 points, Ari Boops with 8, Ghost Rider with 7, and Emily with 0. Thank you so much for being here on tonight's iteration of Marbles on Stream. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all gambled your ass off and you got more points so we could redeem the heat is on. But congratulations to all the gamblers. Now we need to get back to React content, which we were doing earlier. And we need to finish, which I think we have 9 minutes left in the bet, which we didn't. I had to delete the bet. So, Emily, I guess you technically would have won your bet. Dude, did you hear what Matthew Miller fucking said? No. Isn't Matthew Miller the State Department guy that worked for the Biden administration?
Do you think what's going on in Gaza now is a genocide?
I don't think it's a genocide, but I think I think it is without a doubt true that Israel has committed war crimes.
You wouldn't have said that at the podium.
Yeah, look, because when you're at the podium, you're not expressing your personal opinion. You're expressing the conclusions of the United States government. The United States government had not concluded that they've committed war crimes. Still have not concluded that.
But your personal view is they have.
And
they were while you were there.
But let me qualify that. There are two ways to think about the commission of war crimes. One is if the state has pursued a policy to deliberately committing war crimes or is acting reckless in a way that aids and abets war crimes. And that, I think, is an open question. I think what is hard is almost certainly not an open question, is that there have been individual incidents that have been war crimes where members of the Israeli military have committed war crimes. So ultimately, in almost every major conflict, including conflicts prosecuted by democracies, you will see individual members of the militaries commit war crimes. And the way you judge a democracy is whether they hold those people accountable.
Matthew, are they holding those people accountable? Going home now. Bye, Holly. Bye, Holly. I hope you have a safe drive home. Thank you for popping in. Okay. So he personally believed they were committing a genocide, but the United States government didn't believe that they were committing a genocide. Did you make your opinion known that you believe that it was a genocide?
But Israel hasn't.
That's my point. Right. Is we have not yet seen them hold sufficient numbers of the military accountable, and I think it's an open question whether they're going to.
Do you think what's going on in Gaza now is a genocide?
I don't think it's a genocide.
Okay, I genuinely
Genocide, but I think I think it is without a doubt true that Israel has committed war crimes.
I just don't. God, I want a fucking grilled cheese sandwich right now. Ooh, I might make that later. Sam Cedar said, fuck this guy. Yeah, fuck him. You had power. You had power, and you fucking sat there and lied your goddamn fucking face off.
And here's the part where they tell this exact same story about Haeckel writing a letter to Darwin, congratulating him on helping
Sam always right, yeah.
the anthropocentric fable. The only difference being that the Discovery Institute, the pseudoscience peddling cult, at least has the capacity to understand what the anthropocentric fable is, which isn't just the Christian mythology, as Will claims, but the belief in the supernatural character of human life, the sacredness of the human person, and the absolute warrant of conscience and Christian or Kantian ethics. The anthropocentric fable is the erroneous assumption that humans are somehow special in the eyes of nature. Darwin was not the first person to tear down that idea, and he was far from the last. But Will is so full of himself and so grounded in ethnocentrism that he assumed...
Not only that, he insulted reporters that asked him questions about genocide they apparently personally agreed with. No, he said he didn't believe it was a genocide. He said he believed Israel committed war crimes. Individual members committed war crimes. But he's saying that the official U.S. position is that the government and system itself has not committed war crimes, which it fucking has. They've said it they've said it literally, like, in the open. They've basically admitted it in the open.
Keep calling me a homo, and it's like, I know I'm a homo sapien. You don't gotta remind me. You're one too. Homo.
Is Pride Month over yet? Is Pride Month over yet so Emily's fucking TikTok feed can stop being shown on this broadcast?
Assumes that anything that goes against his religion must be a direct and deliberate attack against it. Let's go through a few things that Will might have noticed about this argument if he had thought about it for more than 2 seconds. Number one, this was a letter from Haeckel to Darwin, not the other way around. It makes zero sense to try to frame Haeckel expressing his opinion as Darwin expressing his plan.
No. Thank you, Nomar. Day 2, baby.
Number
oh,
two,
God, so many more days.
That Haeckel was a bad guy. So even if we agreed that what he wrote in this letter was a bad thing, we already know he was a horrible racist, so why would this be all that shocking? Number three, Darwin never set out to destroy Christianity. In fact, he never really set out to prove evolution either. His discovery of natural selection was the accidental result of a different job, and he was practically...
That is literally science. That is how science has worked for all of fucking eternity. You accidentally stumble on something.
Forced into publishing it. And best of all, number four, Will is claiming, without evidence, that Darwinism is out to replace Christianity and reshape society, when that exact thing, in reverse, is literally the written mission statement of the Discovery Institute, which is where he's stealing this entire script from. It's just beautifully ironic in an Alanis Morissette sort of way.
Now, Haeckel wrote to Darwin in 1879. Even then, the German biologist celebrated how Darwin's origin story had replaced the Christian one. It showed man our, quote, true place in nature, just steps away from beasts. And some of us, more steps than others.
And Will, just a few steps away from claiming that Darwin was part of the Illuminati.
And that's what the theology of evolution comes down to. First, it demands faith in things the fossil record disproves. Second, it's
You notice he hasn't given an exact example about the fossil record disproving anything. And in fact, the example that he brought up literally proves the fossil records. Or proves evolution.
silences questions through shaming and professional threats, though thankfully that's starting to change. Third and finally, it was crafted and spread to promote anti-Christian and therefore anti-human ideas.
How is anti-Christian anti-human? The most anti-human things that have ever been done in human history have been done by Christians. Or in the name of Christianity. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Must stop this now.
And there you have it, folks. The true insidiousness of Will's whole presentation. The accusation that was actually a confession this entire time. The assertion that anti-Christian is the same thing as anti-human.
Don't watch Canahan.
Definition
I don't want to.
Of ethnocentrism. And the root philosophy that was the cause of all manner of genocide, colonialism, erasure, and so much more. Just in a more palatable disguise and with a very fancy microphone. And if you think that Will is done stooping to the lowest possible arguments, you'd be wrong. He's about to get a whole lot crazier real fast.
Because evolution's impact didn't end with World War II. If we're still evolving to match changing conditions, and if the fittest still survive, then who's to say that any seemingly helpful change we want to make to humans is right or wrong?
So hold that thought. We're talking about how evolution leads to eugenics, right? Just remember, that is where we're starting.
Think about transgenderism, for example.
I'm gonna go ahead and let the whiplash from that settle for just a second, because believe it or not, the next part is even more wild.
Imagine a post-industrial world where machines and AI androids do all of our heavy work, where we grow babies in technological wombs, a process called ectogenesis that scientists are working on.
What the fuck is transgenderism? Like, is a religion? No, that's Ari. People that are anti-trans literally thinks transgenderism is an ideology and not that it's like based in scientific science or anything like that. They think transgenderism is an ideology. That's why they keep fucking calling it an ideology. Like, no, it's human nature. No, I was saying that. Yeah.
On right now.
Did you see that coming? Did you anticipate that as the next
He's saying that like, what the fuck?
in
Yeah.
this sequence? No, because you're saying, well, secure your biscuits because we're not quite done yet.
In that world, wouldn't fixed gender roles seem outdated? Why would men need strength? Why would women need to bear children? Robots could do all the work, and you could be whatever you choose, even surgically. It's just adapting to new conditions, right? Times change, so why shouldn't the sexes change too?
If people...
This is the dumbest fucking argument I have ever fucking heard in my entire fucking life. Also, technically, men don't have to be strong. Look at you, you dumb fuck. You're a weak motherfucker. You are sitting behind a fucking microphone. You have never done anything in your entire fucking life that promoted strength. What, you walked up a fucking mountain for like a little bit of your fucking video? That's not fucking strength. You literally put other people under your foot rather than helping others up. That's not strength. That's fucking weakness. That's weakness and fear. Strength is being able to pick up others around you.
believe in evolution, then they won't believe in Christianity.
Does change the sexes let men have babies? Dude, if men had babies, the reproductive care available to everybody would be insanely astronomical.
Which means that robots will control the world, which means that babies will be born in sacks, which means that we will all get sex reassignment surgery. That is that man's fear. If you started this video anticipating that this is where it would end, you need to get a job as a fortune teller.
That's why I'm making this video, no matter what Dr. Dawkins might call me, ignorant, stupid, or wicked.
Dawkins said it, not me. The last minute of Will's video is just him repeating himself and encouraging people to replace Darwin with Jesus or whatever. I don't think it's worth anybody's time to show it. Overall, I give this...
Also, the hilarious part is that, like, while Jesus was living, he would have befriended trans people. And probably did befriend trans people back then. Like Jesus literally was friendly with all marginalized people. He hung out with prostitutes. He hung out with lepers. Like, what the fuck? I can't pick up as many people now, and kind of glad it is a sign that estrogen is helping me debulk my arms.
This video a science teacher challenge level 2 out of 10, but neither of those points go to Will, because all he did was steal the most popular arguments from one of the most notoriously awful creationist organizations around. If we learned anything from this video, it's that having a podcast is not the same thing as having a biology degree, and what might happen if you were to buy a chia pet and water it exclusively with bad opinions. I've got a bunch of great stuff coming up, both on this channel and beyond. If you want to come see me in person at one of the places I'll be speaking this year, be sure to check out valkailabs.com for a full event schedule, and make sure that you're subscribed for more science content, because the channel is growing a little bit faster than usual lately, and it's only getting weirder from here. And with that, I'm Forrest Valkai. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and all the other stuff you do here on YouTube. Please exit through the gift shop, pick up one of these sweet t-shirts. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Chat, give it a thumbs up.
Never stop learning. Bye-bye.
Chat. Do you like when I react to that stuff? I mean, I liked reacting to this because I don't need to know every little information, because Valkai was able to import all of that information, but I know like a little bit. So it's nice to be able to jump back and forth between my own opinions and the facts that Valkai is bringing up. and then also make fun of the Creationists itself. So, well, that was fun, chat. But that's where I'm going to wrap things up. I want to ice my shoulder, and I probably should fold my clothes on my bed because it's been like a month, maybe a month and a half since I folded my laundry, and I've just been pouring it all into my bed. I like all things on Ghosty Stream. I'm here for the vibes. I like Reacts. Yeah, I'm starting to like Reacts too. I think I'm going to do more of it. As much as I like playing video games, but there's times where I'm going to be fucking exhausted, where I'm just going to want to kind of mindlessly play video games. So, also, if any of y'all want some good news, new bottom surgery just dropped. What? Anyway, I need to send you somewhere. I need to send you all somewhere. I know exactly where I'm sending you. I know where I'm sending you. I'll let you guess where I'm sending you. Anyway, I'm sending you Super Loops. It is funny, good news series Alice is doing. I'm glad it's working out for her. Alice and OT are peak combo. Anyway, chat, first message are those that are not subbed. Next two messages are those that are subbed. But thank you all so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. This was a fun stream of React content. I will not be live tomorrow or the day after. But if my second round gets canceled on either of these days, I will be streaming. Thursday is my birthday. I'm working first thing in the morning. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I was thinking about streaming all day, but another option that popped into my head was recording for a video and then going live after that. And then I can edit video on stream and then go with that. But anyway, that's all for me tonight. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good night. See y'all later. Free Palestine.